we are Americans. The future is ours, and our golden age has just begun.
Hey fam, it is a good ass day to be an American. It is a good ass day to be like a human being in the world. I am so happy right now. Welcome to freedom. I'm so excited. Thank you guys so much for being here. This is our first show of the year. It's been a little bit. I've missed you guys. Hey Marion, hey Unit, Sherry, Chris, everybody, Christy, Dylan, M169, Tim. Oh my god, and this bitch. Can someone please cyberbully this guy into coming on my show? Because I've been trying to have him on here forever and he never will. So please go bitch at him until he comes on the show. Hey Ramiro. Anyway, hey B. Oh my god, we have so much to talk about. We have so much to get into. Welcome though, my illustrious guest. First up, first time on the show, but I've been very much looking forward to this. Everybody say hello to the lovely, the effervescent Culture Casino.
Well, thank you. Wow, that's a heck of an introduction. And I don't know about effervescent, but I'll do my very best. It's great to see you. And yeah, I've been wanting to do this for a while in various places. I'm going to have to get you onto my channel. I got a little interview program I'd love to put you through. But I'm glad to be here. I know we have some great other folks on the panel. I got to meet them just a few moments ago. I'm excited. I've been pumped like literally for like 48 hours. Like I've been jazzed, right? So I mean, this has been a great series of days so far. And we're just the beginning of the golden age, Mike. Just the beginning.
Oh my god, this is amazing. Well, let me bring in our other friends, our returning champions, our beloved Fedora Man, Mr. Brian, the Front Porch Conservative.
Right.
Good evening. All hail the high harlot, as we are now in his realm. Good to be back. Good to be back in your kingdom, my friend.
Love you, dude. And by the way, this guy, all their links are below, so check these beautiful people out. He just hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, it's been a long time coming, and now we're just grinding and cranking, and we're going to put out a video tonight. Matter of fact, I got tipped off by a mutual friend of ours, Tracy Barkley from Gen X Marks the Spot, about a topic that I think Culture is going to want to do something on this too. And I'll just go ahead and tip it off to everybody. Apparently, Trump has pardoned Ross Ulbricht, the founder of Silk Road. He just did it tonight. Okay, the news is breaking.
We have so much to get to. Let me bring in our other friends.
Yes, get them in here.
The best hair, other than maybe Scott Pressler, the two of you are like neck and neck. Welcome, our beautiful Indian Jesus.
Hello, hello, hello. How are we doing? I am Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus. How are we doing? Very excited to be here.
I've missed you, dude. And you know this.
Oh, and yes, if I may, whenever I'm on a stream anywhere, any super chat gets Morty a treat. So I see a couple in there already.
Sorry,
got a couple.
Sorry, my friggin' camera is already being a bitch, but this is why you are the greatest, dude. Did you catch any of that?
You talking to me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I didn't know if it cut out. Sorry. Let me bring in our next guy. I love this bitch. You sexy bastard. Chris Michaels.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? We have a lot to talk about tonight. Especially when it comes to Trump. And he's even starting to get saucier than you in front of reporters. He told them to stop interrupting while he was talking. It was great.
Oh my god, everything just feels so great right now. Wait, before we get into stuff. Oh my god, thank you so much, my beautiful Marion. I'm in such a friggin' good mood. I can't stand it. Me too. This just feels so surreal. I think I had 2020 PTSD that I still can't believe it. I was watching the inauguration. I'm like, I can't believe this. I cannot believe it. I'm legitimately more surprised about him winning this time than I was in 2016. I never thought he would be allowed to win again.
Yeah, same. I mean, especially ever since the assassination attempt, as I call it, on YouTube. Ever since that, I had a looming feeling that, like, you know, we saw the support for him and not much else. You know, people were mad about it, but not like huge protests or anything. It's just like everything's so quiet. And then, you know, I was like, are we going to get here? And then yesterday, We made it.
Oh, I have thoughts on that too. Also, John, thank you so much, dude. The winning never stops, MAGA. This is I can't believe it. I can't get over it. So what did you guys think yesterday watching the inauguration?
I felt like it didn't end. I mean, I felt like that was like the most extended inauguration I think I've ever seen in my lifetime, and I've been around a few years. So, I love the fact that despite our worries that there might be some nefarious deeds afoot, that it went down very well, absent the terrible technical difficulty that the lovely lady had, because I think Carrie Underwood did, and she acquitted herself quite well in her rendition of
she was amazing,
a wonderful song, and she got a lot of harassment for it, but she also has bravery, and that's one of the things required here in MAGA land: bravery, strength of character. And so, but from that moment forward, I felt like it just never ended. I felt like we went from one thing to the next thing to the next thing, and it was like breathless moments with being in the arena with thousands of people, and then of course like moving on into his office and the impromptu press conference while he's signing more people to be brought back to freedom and after unjust detention. I loved every second, and I still have that same emotional high that I went to bed with.
Still a little giddy.
Yeah, I'm bouncy. I don't know about you guys. I'm very bouncy.
How many executive orders are we up to now? I think it was 78 as of last night.
It's something like that. And the fact that he was doing it with a crowd and everything.
Yeah.
I really feel like. Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, I was going to say, if the inauguration speech in 2017 was the declaration of war on establishment of Washington, the inauguration speech of 2025 is the terms of surrender. I'm giving them to you, and here's what you're going to do going forward. I mean, that speech was just, he basically held Joe Biden and Kamala Harris by the nose and slapped them across the face verbally as hard as he could.
So, and Kamala, you could see venom on her lips. That bitch was living on planet Zoloft. Like, she was out of it.
And she probably really, really thought that she was going to win. Like, with all of the establishment behind her, I don't think she expected that. I mean, maybe closer to when she felt like she had to go and do these terrible interviews. But yeah, I think the reason she hid for so long was, I'm going to do exactly what Biden did. Biden hid in the basement and he won. But the COVID stuff really changed that and really exposed her.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I really feel like after 2020, when the election was fortified, I really felt like in everything that's happened since then, with political prisoners, with the state of the country in every conceivable way, things just felt so dark and so hopeless that I think a lot of people really felt like, what is the meaning of all this? What is the point of all this? And I feel like now we're seeing what that is, because if Trump had just been reelected in 2020, I genuinely don't think we would have seen this massive cultural shift that's happening. I think everything worked out exactly as it was supposed to. And I think if he would have just conventionally been reelected, I don't think we would see this sort of Trumpzilla that we're seeing now. This is like Trump on steroids.
Yeah, well, not only is now it's his second term, so he doesn't have to worry about a re-election, but the juxtaposition between the last 4 years and the previous 4 years, I think that is one of the biggest factors. I think you're exactly right. If he had won again, and we were just ending his second term, I don't know how excited some people would be about that on the right, especially if you're not like down the line Republican. Like I've never voted Republican before, and I'm MAGA. I'm not conservative. I'm not a Republican. But yeah, I don't know if there would be enough time and enough stuff to be like, okay, this can happen.
Oh, yeah, it seems as though that Trump, every time he comes into power, is actually delaying the long-term plans of people from the World Economic Forum. You know what I mean? So he was in there the first time. He put a monkey wrench into things from 2016 to 2020. He wasn't supposed to be elected then. And then we had Biden kind of bum rush everything to the point where it went too fast and nobody can handle it. And then finally, we have it again now. So all in all, we're looking at essentially a 12-year delay of whatever these power elites tried to do between his 2 terms and Biden's term, because he's really going to overturn everything that's been going on lately. And I hope that we do drain some semblance of the deep state. I mean, come on. I mean,
Absolutely.
the 51
Doge, baby.
intelligence officials that had their security clearances, still, it took Donald Trump to do that.
That's insane.
It's absolutely insane. And Milley and Fauci and these preemptive pardons. I mean, what are we talking about here?
So I guess I didn't know this. I guess we've got breaking news that he pardoned Ross Ulbricht.
Yep.
This
Yeah,
really
shout out
is
to Ross.
Damn, that's one of those things that I just thought would never happen.
Yeah, I mean, when was that? That must have been
It was
like
a long
2011.
yeah, something like that. And,
Yeah, 2011 was when he was put in prison.
And I would definitely have to remind myself of all of the details, but obviously the the Silk Road guy, but the what exactly the charges were and why it was so BS. But shout out to Ross.
Silk Road. He was allowing drugs and other illegal things to be sold over there. Was that pretty much it? And basically, he was saying it's free market.
Yeah.
Well, but either free market or had no knowledge that it was happening until after it was pointed out to him, and under the guise of, well, you let these things happen, we're going to have you arrested. Mind you, he didn't engage in any of the selling. He didn't do anything else.
Yeah,
it was a marketplace,
right?
But I mean, many people have argued that because of his ties to cryptocurrency and where that is heading, that certain people in power or powerful positions are like, no, we got to cut this off at the pass. So for 11 years, the man has languished. Well, no, actually longer than that. Excuse me. 14 years, the man's languished in a jail cell, for doing nothing in and of himself illegally. But he's now about. Matter of fact, I've got the.
Well, if this is the precedent, then what's the excuse for places like Wayfair and Amazon? Because do we all remember Wayfair selling $20,000 carpets that have the same title as missing children? I mean, come on.
I think it was you, Chris, that had told me about that, showed me all that. And my mind was blown.
Yeah. Essentially, what happens is that the marketplace, anybody can sell on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all you have to do is validate that you're a business, you got an LLC or whatever, right? So what we started to see back in 2016, 17, 18, and 19 is we found these marketplaces selling outrageously costed mundane items. So a cabinet, a carpet, an 8-foot by 4-foot runner carpet going for $20,000. And the names of these objects were having the same last names of missing children across the country. And they would say things like, only one left. Well, yeah, there's only one missing child with that name. So there will only be one left. And Wayfair, for what it's worth, or Walmart or Amazon, they're not going to validate any of that. They're only providing the platform to sell your product in their marketplace. So Scott Adams, you remember him from Dilbert? He has a big issue with fraud over on Amazon right now, too. And the other, right. Marion is right. I saw some last names, but there were also some first names of children, too, missing children that were the titles of these objects.
God.
So he has a problem with Amazon, too. He found fraudulent Dilbert calendars on Amazon, and Amazon wouldn't take them down, despite the fact that he said, I don't sell calendars. So Amazon and all these marketplaces, there's almost no culpability. There is almost no accountability with these places.
By the way, sorry, parentheses. Wait, one sec. Awkward segue to go from trafficked to children. But, everybody, welcome to the stream. The other Mikey, Mr. Mikey Sciarrino.
Hello.
How you doing, dude?
Good. How's everybody?
Good. Someone just said, where is it? Drew said, I think Mike brought the cold weather from New York with him to Florida and the Gulf of America.
Don't even start. Do not even start. It's like 19 degrees right now. I'm in Jersey. It's 16 degrees. I was being sarcastic, but it's even lower. 16 degrees right now.
I can't believe you were an East Coaster and I didn't know you the whole time I lived there.
I was hiding.
Mikey, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I mean,
in the new
everyone
free
else can be.
America.
I'm doing ecstatic. I could not be more happy. I could not be more optimistic. I don't know. I'm just feeling really positive. These past 24 hours have been very, very good for everybody. Definitely, I'm seeing a much different. We can tell that this is going to be a much different administration than it was the first time around, in a much more positive way. I mean, I didn't read through all of them, but like just kind of skimming through a lot of the EOs that were signed yesterday. I mean, I agreed with pretty much all of them. And I don't know if you guys talked about this before I came on, but just a few minutes ago, Ross was freed. So that's a big win for everybody. I mean, everyone should be on board with that. So just a really good, just a really, really, everything's just going in a positive direction. And I'm really just so hopeful to see what we can get done these next 4 years, but all looking good so far.
And I think what's interesting too is, Mikey, the two of us the last couple of years had been two people who were very critical of Trump. And everything he's doing, I realize it's only been 24 hours. However, his entire campaign and everything he's doing now is sort of what I had always hoped he would be. Like, he is crushing it.
Yeah. And I'm trying not to get like super, like, you know, every little thing that he's going to do now. This all of a sudden means that he's going to do every little thing right, because this did happen the first time around too. Like the first like couple months of his first term, you know, we had like the Muslim ban and those kind of things. He was much like, he did all the hardline immigration stuff in the beginning, and then he kind of softened as his term progressed. But I think this time around, I mean, I saw that interview with Tom Homan basically saying that they've already gone full-fledged on these mass deportations. So, and they're not even starting with criminals. They're basically just doing everybody. Anyone who's an illegal is out of here. So, much different energy, much different, just a much different vibe. And like I said, I'm just nothing but hopeful.
Woohoo! Pedro, thanks so much, dude. Hey, Mike, dropping to say hi. The next 4 years are going to be so fun. The libs have not stopped seething on Twitter, and it's glorious. Ci sentiamo. Oh, it is beautiful. This as well. Never felt so proud seeing all those leftist tears. They are melting down. Hey, thank you so much, dude. I don't know if you guys are aware, but that inconspicuous little dog sitting behind Lutch is actually the one true overlord of all things. It's true. It is Morty's world, and we're just living in it.
You got it. He runs the world.
Also, hey, Peter Feliciano is in the house.
Welcome.
What was that? What I was gonna say. So I don't know if you guys saw, there are a bunch of people on Twitter who are already making their lists of media hoaxes during this Trump administration. So we've got the first one already, which is Elon Hitler.
Oh boy.
Hey.
Oh boy. And you see a bunch of people just clipping out the one thing, and
they mute it. They mute it.
Yep. And he specifically said, you know, he does the thing, and he's like, you know, my heart goes out to you. Like, first, he's we all know he's autistic. We all know he's kind of goofy in that way. But of course, people, you know, all over, I saw on TikTok, on X, people just clipping out that one part. See, it's already happening. Like, you know, I mean,
and they mute it because he was saying, my heart goes out to you.
Yeah.
And I mean, you could freeze frame anybody. You could probably do it with me, any of you, anybody. Hey, like fucking, you know, if I reach over here and they screen cap it right there.
But I dropped Mike. In a stinger today on one of the shows I'm on. I'm producer for Mr. H Reviews, right? And so one of the stingers I put together was that exact image, except I did it with Obama and Kamala and AOC and all that stuff, you know. And then, you know, obviously other people memed those same things. But I mean, the fake Indian lady Elizabeth Warren is busting out a nice little Hail Hitler.
She's ready to scalp people.
Yeah. And I'm like going, this is pretty bonkers, you know, because it's not like you can't freeze frame anybody in that position. I mean, it's just it's the way it is, and the news is so disingenuous. It's why the mainstream media has dropped, you know, all but about 24% of their audience now. I mean, they've dropped below 30%. Media trust has never been lower in the United States of America. So when you start to look at those things, I wasn't surprised. When I saw that in real time last night, innocuous. obviously inoffensive to anybody that's being intellectually honest. But we forget the mainstream media, not intellectually honest.
As soon as he did it, I was like, "Oh, they are gonna run with that. They are gonna run with that."
And they are going full find people on both sides with this. But it's not having the same impact that it used to.
Well, but
No.
exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna say. That it's. I almost feel bad for them to think that. See, look, they're Nazis. Like, bro, no. Like, you tried this for the last decade.
And that's the point. The reason it's not having any effect is two reasons. Number one, it's disingenuous and people can see through it. Number two, you do this enough, you cry wolf enough, no one listens to you. But the larger point for me is they've learned nothing in almost now 10 years of dealing with Donald Trump and his supporters and people who ideologically align with him. They have learned nothing about how to approach these people, how to talk to these people, how to try to understand these people, understand their wants, their needs, their desires, and they just go back to the same playbook. We're going to take you down. We're going to call you a bunch of names. We'll call you racist. We'll call you bigoted. We'll call you Nazis. We'll call you everything else. And they've learned nothing. And they're going to keep on doing this to the point they will be irrelevant.
Yep. Even the Harvard Political Review came out. Trump's rhetoric echoes Hitler. Oh, of course. Alexandra Fireman is on the case, and she references all kinds of slants and slanders against immigrants.
But Chris, Chris, she has a very sexist name.
She does have a very sexist name. That's what we're going with? Alexandra Fireman, F-I-E-R-M-A-N.
Shouldn't that be Firewoman?
It should be Fire Person, if we're being completely honest.
Right.
Yeah.
You could be a non-binary
gender.
Yeah, that's true. Well, thanks to Donald Trump, we now only have 2 genders recognized by the federal government.
True story.
Can you
not quite sure why we even had to have an executive order to define what a female is.
We did.
But
we did. That's the crazy part.
But
well, we have to straighten up those in the Supreme Court on what a female is, because apparently, I'm not a doctor. Well, you clearly shouldn't have been a lawyer either. My Lord.
Jumanji Brown Jackson is just a travesty.
Yes, but what a great movie.
It's been a while.
The original.
It's like the Netflix remake.
Oh no.
Can you imagine, though, the headline that was everywhere was President Donald Trump announces that there are only 2 genders. Can you imagine seeing that headline like 10, 15 years ago?
No.
I'm wondering how far will we have fallen in 10 years?
I never would have imagined that biological men could compete in women's sports, and people are happy about it, including the feminists.
Right.
They're the most ardent supporters of it. I mean, talk about a glass ceiling that's never going to be broken. You've had men compete in women's games and still beat the women, and then get awards for it.
Wow.
Sage, my beloved, thank you so much. You got to come back on here soon. The same people performatively outraged over the Nazi salute are the same people who have been whoring it up for Hamas the last 15 months.
Yep.
Bingo.
Well, that's because none of these positions that they hold are like legitimate. It's just the what they're supposed to say, and and they just it's just being in line with what everybody else says, and if it conflicts, it doesn't matter because you said the right thing. You're on the right team.
These people are deranged. Morty's like, "Where's my tree?"
He's like, "I want more.
Yeah, it's so funny. It really is the horseshoe theory that you look at. If you go on X and see the people who are sort of what I would consider to be the actual far right, like the Groyper types and shit, they're very similar to the left in being identitarians. Like one side sees Nazis everywhere, one side sees evil Jews everywhere.
100%.
Deranged.
And I just yesterday there was somebody in my Discord server talking about like I don't know, some things the Jew. I was like, okay, like look, I'm with any truth claim. If you provide the evidence, then you'll have somebody who agrees with you. Didn't say anything, of course. Just throwing stuff out there.
Yeah, I think those types are in a very tightly constricted echo chamber, and they're not. It's very similar to the left that they're not used to being asked follow-up questions. You're just supposed to assume, like when they say a white person or something, you're just supposed to assume, bah. And it's the same thing when they say Jew. You're just supposed to assume. Oh,
And it's the dogmatic position that everything comes back to the Jews. And so you can, if you have that that conclusion already set, then there's any number of ways that you could you can make that work with the mental gymnastics, but it doesn't make it real.
All right, third time's a charm. I'm trying to send you a great commentary on what a double Nazi salute is. I think this needs to be shared with everybody.
Oh geez.
One second, let me pull it up.
I today and yesterday have been the day of the Babylon Bee.
Oh boy. I knew that fucking Indian was up to no good.
Hey, what is that supposed to mean?
Double Yahtzee, baby.
Different kind of Indian, Lutch. It's the
all right. He's a feather. I'm a dot.
By the way,
oh my gosh,
that was awesome. I forgot what I was saying. That was so great. Yeah, these people have lost their damn minds, and I hope that they just continue doubling down on it, because please let that be the lesson that they learn. You just didn't call enough people Nazis. You didn't call enough people white supremacists. You just got to call some more people that, and you'll totally win next time.
On the flip, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, on the flip side of that, as more people come to realize Trump is not a Nazi, his policies are not fascist, and they enjoy more freedom and more liberty, be it economic or personal or political, they're going to just keep. To your friend Brandon Strzok is having fun tonight. They're going to keep walking away from the left. They're going to keep walking away from the Democrat Party, and Trump won't need to put them out in the wilderness. They'll just walk out there on their own and just hang out there in exile.
Look, I have a question. I've been asking a lot of my friends this. You guys, I consider my friends, even though I just met Lutch. He's my friend, and Chris is great. So I'm just and Mikey, it's an honor to be here with you. But I'll just say it this way: what do you think differentiates Trump so much that he's lifted, all of these different minorities all together into the same group? Do we not have now under MAGA? I'm not talking about the Republicans. I'm talking about MAGA. Do we not under MAGA have the biggest tent I've ever seen in my lifetime?
It's the closest. I think MAGA's right now the closest thing that we have to like a unified political movement, where it really is all races, all creeds, all backgrounds, even all political ideologies. There's people from all across the political spectrum that have come together to vote for him, especially this time around. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact, and this is what I was going to say just a few minutes ago, was that I think in many ways that basically what our politics has become is it's become Trump's positions and not Trump's positions, which is the Democrat Party, because the Democrats today, literally their position, their platform is literally everything that is the opposite of what Trump says and does, regardless of how sane that very thing could be. So he could literally say or do something that Democrats would agree with doing 10, 15 years ago, and they would be against it today. And I think a real point, and I think that this kind of came true, and people really started seeing this back in 2019 in the Democrat debates, when they all raised their hands when they were asked, would you offer free healthcare for illegal immigrants? No one in their right mind supports that on either side of the aisle. So, and I think that's what our politics really has become now. It's just become literally sanity versus insanity. And it's sad that it's come to that, because I wish that we had a political field right now where everyone had really good ideas. And I was going into the ballot box being like, yeah, all these choices are really, really good. Which one's the best one for me? But now it's literally seen as this side is just somewhat sane and this side is absolutely insane.
Yeah, I think I would like to suggest that because of where Trump grew up and what his politics were, he's a New York Democrat, right? I mean, business wise, he's basically, he's driven by a profit motive, right? And for whatever reason, America's not profitable. America should be the most profitable country on earth. And so the idea of tariffs, you know, I'm like, well, that's a little harsh, but if you get rid of the income tax, sign me up, because the idea that we're funding the world, which we have been for my entire lifetime. Yeah, exactly. But for my entire lifetime, we've been funding the world. Maybe it's time to pay America back just a little bit, you know, and maybe we should live in those circumstances. Maybe the taxation that we are seeking is a consumption tax. Maybe that, because that's what tariffs will become. And so it's like all these common sense ideas that this country actually like existed on before we got the taxation baloney sausage, right? It's that we produced things, we made things, you know, these were self-sustaining things. And when we exported, we charged tariffs. This is a beautiful idea. It's why all these other countries that exist off the socialism of the aid program that the United States provides for every country, it seems, you know, they survive off of that, but they don't want any responsibility for purchasing our goods or any of the other things that we provide to the rest of the world. So it's just interesting. So I guess what I'm ultimately getting to is because we allow for so many different ideas to glom together under MAGA, right? You don't have to be perfectly aligned with everything. I mean, not all of us are going to agree that, you know, the clump of cells that ran Planned Parenthood just suddenly was removed from the planet yesterday, which I thought Babylon B did a great job with that one too. But I think we'll all agree that it's better for us to all align on the things that we agree on and you know, quibble about those other things in various other ways, because that's what a true leader does. He listens to his audience. He's like, I really don't agree with that, but most of you want it, and it sounds like it's going to be innocuous or helpful, so let's move forward with it. He doesn't have to agree with everything that I believe. I don't have to agree with everything anybody on this panel believes, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm better off by getting together with people who have common sense than I am with people who disregard actual science.
Absolutely. And I mean, that going back to, you know, your original question, Mike, about you know, just the broadness of MAGA. I think that it's not, you know, not to take away from our boy here, but there is this aspect. You know, Dave Smith was saying he, up until like a week or so before the election, he still wasn't sure. He's a libertarian. And then Chase Oliver won the libertarian nomination. So he wasn't going to go there. And so he was just not sure. And by the end, he was like, yo, these people cannot win. These people cannot win. We have to get Trump. And so, you know, Trump is awesome. But there's also the fact that exactly what you just said, by making all of your positions orange man bad, we're the good ones, you're the bad, then it's just going to push people away.
Exactly.
Really. And that 2020 debate that you were talking about, Mikey, speaking of insanity, I will never forget, like, them raising their hands for decriminalizing illegal aliens. That wasn't even the craziest shit from that debate. Remember, they had the guy, what's his name, Julian Castro, who they're talking about abortion, and he's like, well, we have to
abortion for transgenders,
the trans women that need abortion. I'm like, and he's literally trans women. I'm like, so men getting abortions.
I was gonna say that, first of all, he didn't. I remember that, and like, he didn't even say it right, because if you're gonna get really technical with it, it's technically trans men that get abortions, but that's irrelevant. So he doesn't even know how to like talk to.
He doesn't know how to pander correctly.
But also, I mean, like I was saying before, it just goes to show just how that's, again, going back to what MAGA has become. It really just has become all these people under one umbrella that have various viewpoints and various ideologies and various political affiliations coming together under one cause, and that's putting our country first, making our economy better, getting out of foreign wars. I mean, when you have people on the Young Turks starting to cozy up to us and starting to sound more like MAGA as the days go by, which I don't really trust, you know, Cenk and Anna that much, but still, I'm willing to hear them out because I think their intentions are in the right place, and I do genuinely think they're trying to, you know, better American citizens' lives. You know, that says something about the left. That's a wake-up call for them. They need to start waking up and listening to normal people. Yeah.
Yep.
Let's get in, by the way, to some of the executive orders. So obviously we can't bury the lead. J6 pardons.
Yeah, baby. 1,500. 1,500.
All of them, right?
I doubted if this would happen because I think people forget. God, I'm sorry. I don't know why my camera is all delayed because my camera sucks. I don't know if people, I don't want people to forget just what a pariah these people were back then, and how this issue was seen as radioactive. Nobody would talk about it. Nobody would acknowledge it. These people were shunned. They were imprisoned. They were abused. They were political prisoners. So it's hard to call it justice because it never should have happened in the first place, but it's the closest thing. So I am thrilled.
Yeah, and I think somebody's asking, was it all of them? I remember Trump was saying there's a few that he needs to look at further, but yeah, those 1,500 people just out of here.
Yeah, I think they withheld 6. And I'm not sure why.
I think if there were a couple people who were violent or something, to look into it more, like that's understandable.
I think Ray Epps was scooped up into that too.
Which again, I mean, he can be charged for other things if he's pardoned for that day. That's no. I mean, let's be honest about it. The way the pardons work, but unlike the imagination that people think you can preemptively pardon people, it's only ever been done once, and there wasn't going to be any action on that going forward with Richard Nixon. So I think once the Supreme Court were to visit this idea of people not being convicted of a crime and then being let go, I think there's a good conversation for how do you pardon somebody from an unknown crime? And if so, if they committed murder, that's fine. I don't know. I mean, it's this breadth
politics,
of view,
baby.
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation. I think it'll end up at SCOTUS. But anyway, sorry.
You guys see Joy Reid from MSNBC talking a couple years ago about Trump is going to preemptively pardon his family, and that's why he's Hitler and fascism and all that.
Yeah,
these people have zero universally applied principles. It is all just situational to whatever suits their agenda in that moment.
Yeah.
And I really wonder how, there's definitely a split between the people who know that it's all BS and just go with it because whatever reason, and the people who listen to those people and are convinced and really believe many conflicting positions. I wonder what the split is, because there's definitely both. Just who's dumb and who's evil.
Sorry, Brian, what were you saying?
No, I was just going back to Culture's point, because up to now, the power of pardon is considered to be absolute. In other words, if a president pardons you, all right, it stands, it's not reviewable, there's no place to go with it, it is absolute. But I think there is a valid question here. Can you pardon someone for a non-existent event? In other words, I give you pardon. Why are you pardoning me? Why are you pardoning me? Well, you may have done something, but we just don't know what it is. Well, now, wait a minute. The pardon has to be for something specific that you have done. At least I would think so. I mean, because what's the point of the pardon? So I think Culture's right. This is going to wind up getting worked through the judiciary at some point up to the Supreme Court, because either we're headed for a Supreme Court decision on this, or we're headed for a complete reworking by constitutional amendment of the power of pardon. Because I'm sorry, the abuse that's been done now, it warrants a thorough discussion of this.
As far as I know, I thought they could be subjected to a judicial review.
Well,
there are 2 instances where it could be. The first one could be that they have to make sure that the pardon wasn't given due to some kind of icky thing, such as blackmail, bribery, or something along those lines. And second, they can review the pardon to ensure that the pardon is only focused on a federal crime.
Right.
So I can't go around into pardoning people like Trump in New York State. Yeah. So those are the only 2 instances. But it also implies that if the Biden administration is preemptively pardoning people, that they know they've committed federal crimes.
Right.
They know that these individuals have committed at least one federal crime that they could be found guilty of. So rather than just wait for that to happen, let's just do it preemptively. I mean, the problem is, I think, the wording. And the wording is, you have to commit the crime to be pardoned of it. You
exactly.
can't just sit there and, hey, but Chris, you're pardoned. From what?
To follow up
really
on that.
Telling
but to follow up on
family. So go ahead.
But
sorry.
No, but to follow up on that, no, I hate to interject. I really hate to interrupt people, but going back to 1915, the Supreme Court said that if you accepted a pardon, you are admitting guilt.
Right. Exactly.
And you no longer have the right to the to plead the fifth. So we need to get Fauci on the stand for anything. I don't care what. I just want that man in that box.
Now, Chris. Now, I know
Morty.
What's that?
Chris,
On behalf of Morty, because of the dogs he killed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, Chris, let's go down this road. You mentioned the most important factor: federal crime.
Let's go state. Let's go all the way. Every state.
Yup.
Including Canada, Greenland, Mexico.
Yeah.
And all the way down to Panama. All those states.
All of our states.
Gulf of America.
Hostile takeover.
Panama. We're going to have Panama as a state pretty soon, apparently. So let's do that.
I am a Trump person. I love it, especially when he's up there 2 hours just lambasting all of these media people, right? I love it. But I'd like to know when MAGA became, let's set up the North American Union. It's really, I'm sorry. And one of the consulting firms in the early 2000s that laid out the North American superhighway that went from Mexico throughout the United States up into was the Giuliani Partners or Giuliani Associates, right? So Rudolph Giuliani set up the study to map out how you would create a North American Union. Here we are.
Also, to my knowledge, he didn't even talk about any of this during the campaign, did he?
No,
why would
he? After.
Throwing them in.
Could you imagine that?
Well,
could you imagine if he's on the campaign trail? We're going to go from the North Pole to the Panama Canal, and it's going to be the Gulf of America.
I don't know.
Well, that was funny.
I can't remember.
Well, but Greenland makes a lot of sense, okay? Because, like I said, absent the Panama Canal, what other shipping routes do people want to utilize, and what's another way to facilitate the transfer of goods internationally? Intercontinentally at this point. But Greenland's a great strategic point for a whole lot of reasons. Not to mention they have some interesting mineral resources we might be interested in.
That's the big one.
Yeah.
By the way, parentheses, sorry, I just noticed I missed this. Frisches, my love, thank you so much. I also have Asperger's, and my whole life I've gotten into trouble for making strange gestures at emotional moments, especially when speaking to large groups. We honestly can't help it at times. No, and I think that was so obvious from when you watch the actual clip of him that he seems very emotional and sincere, and they're going to use it to call him Hitler.
It was a pure moment. It was pure.
Yep. And don't let anybody talk about how it's ableist or anything, because they care about that unless you're a bad one. And if you like Trump, you're a bad one.
I'm trying to pull up, where is it? Sorry, I clicked away. 1 second. With like everything with them though, it only ever goes in one direction. Check this out. We were talking about this before. Where is it? Thank you, Tim, for this. Yep. Now, none of these are Nazi salutes because they're Democrats.
Well,
that is the only difference.
Wait, you get the AOC one that Tim Pool had today, because I used all of those poses in a lovely collage that I made today. But AOC threw up the big sign too. I'm just saying. I mean, for a woman reacting to it, she was certainly happy to give it.
Again, though,
Taylor Swift.
I'm really though. I'm where Mikey's at with this. It's like, just let them do it. Let them have their field day with this. It's only going to bring more people over, and because I think right now we're literally set up at a point. I'm not even being hyperbolic, where we could have Republican rule for the next like 20 years if this just keeps going the way it's going, and if our promises are fulfilled.
No, I think that's the key. It's one thing to talk it. Trump's got to deliver it. And not only Trump, but whoever succeeds him in the leadership of the MAGA movement. That's going to be the trick.
Yeah.
And
you bring up a great point there, Brian, because it is still the perception of a lot of people on the left, or just, I don't know, anybody not MAGA, that it's all about, Trump worship. And it's just not. And so the notion that in 4 years, we're still, I don't want to speak for anybody else, but we should still have these same principles, and we'll be looking for somebody else to carry them through. And, that it's not about just the man. Like, Trump was the one who came in and was the bull in the china shop, all that stuff. But, he started something, and it's bigger than him.
It's interesting.
Accountability. He needs to go after all of these people or have his, have his network go after all of these people in the state courts. People like Fauci, people like General Milley, Liz Cheney, Blue Ribbon County Fair winner Liz Cheney. And all of those people need to have some day in court. You cannot let these people go by. Otherwise, Trump runs the risk of looking impotent.
Right. Yep.
Well, I think, and I linked this article to you, and it's you'd have to get a post. You'd have to subscribe to this to actually have the full article. But today, Michael Schellenberger wrote an article, or I guess yesterday, technically, talking about the fact that the reason Democrats are so quiet and they're not rallying or burning things down. First of all, it's snow and cold. Second of all, it's because Trump defeated them morally, not just politically. And I think that speaks to what I think that's what
we need a bill for that, Lutch.
Yeah.
We need a what?
We need a bell for that. There you
go. But I think
sorry, I'm resetting my laggy camera.
I think that speaks to what Mikey said. I think it speaks to what Chris said, is that, let them do dumb stuff, because dumb stuff revealed them in the first place. So the more dumb stuff they do, the more they're revealed. But just don't be afraid to call it out, point it out, do what we've been doing, responding with memes and hysterically funny stuff, because you cannot defeat mockery. If your position is built on shifting sands, those sands are going to shift, and we'll just help you. That's what memes do. We're going to help push you into the more ridiculous.
Yep, you got Granny Pennies here saying something. Don't get in the way of your enemies when they're making fools of themselves. Bingo. Well said.
I don't know if you guys got this vibe when you were watching the inauguration yesterday, but I was watching at the executive order signing in the arena, and his kids came out, and so I was just watching it, and I saw like when they announced like Barron's name, and he was just like standing up there with like his fist and like waving at everybody. And I just thought for a second, I was like, dang, like I'm not like I don't like political dynasties, but like this guy, like in 20, 30 years could like do some damage. I feel like for the foreseeable future, the Trumps are going to have some sort of influence in politics, like whether it's, not so much running for office, but they're always going to have some sort of leverage, because I think Trump's legacy is just going to live on forever and ever. So, but he's like so young, and like I could just see him being like a powerhouse. Like I think he exudes his father more than any of his kids. So I don't know. It's just interesting to me. Like I saw that and I was like, dang, like to be a liberal right now and to see that, like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's just like a weird vibe I get. But
I don't know about you guys, but I'm already fully on board for Vance 2028.
Yeah. I think it'll be easy to push. And Mikey pointed out something that I think everybody recognized. This might have been the second coming of the Kennedy family, because what you saw, what you saw on stage is a MAGA version. It's really hard for me to say Republican because I know better, but this is the MAGA version of a political dynasty, and it's the idea of that, like if you can bring the most amount of people into your tent, and it's not these like Marxist driven coalitions, which is what we have, which is what the Democrats unfortunately became. But it's that type of bond where you unite on the most common sense of issues and to benefit the country that you occupy. That's kind of the best thing. And you see the Trumps, they represent that, and all of the people that are associated in this country. This country was built upon and refined under relationships, not under these types of, loosely assembled coalitions. And that's the biggest problem with a coalition, is you don't truly owe each other anything, but you are in it together for power. Whereas if you actually put people into the same room and they agree on most things, common sense things, you're almost undefeatable. And that's kind of what JFK and the Joe Kennedy was a scumbag, don't get me started, but he envisioned a bigger future, and I think Trump less of a scumbag, but I think
still a scumbag for sure.
No, he's fine, but that's my point is it's he kind of built a family for this reason now. I think it's pretty clear even to Melania, and I know Melania tried to pull way back in the first term because she was still raising Barron. But I think Barron's a fine young man and will be a political leader in the future. Anyway, I keep going off on tangents and conversations, so just tell me to shut up once in a while, Mike.
Hell no, that's what
Yeah,
this show is.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
I want to ask something though, real quick, to everybody, because I was also thinking about this too, and it's like, because it really does seem, ironically enough, Meghan McCain actually tweeted this, and I actually did agree with it. She said something along the effects of like, it just seems like the Democrats have kind of given up, and that they've just kind of politically and culturally given everything in Republicans' hands, and it does kind of feel like that. And I think, you know, given how these next 4 years go, is it far-fetched to kind of say that like sometime in maybe my lifetime or like down the road that the Democrat Party could possibly be extinct and be like a Whig party, like what happened to the Whig Party? If things just keep going, think about it. If things just keep going in the direction that they're going, you know, even more extreme. Like
they've got to
there has to be like a stopping point, right?
I think I will bring this back to what I will always bring it back to: horror movies. Because if anyone has seen Halloween Ends, what they say, no, I have a point. It is a brilliant, insightful point. There is a line in Halloween Ends where they say, "Evil never dies; it changes shape." And I think that's what we'll see. The Democratic Party won't die; they will change shape. And they might have to be a little more calculate, a little more sneaky in how they go about it. They might not be saying the quiet part out loud as much as they have been.
Starting in 67, they had to recloak themselves, didn't they? And they didn't do an effective job of it because you had politicians like Biden rise to prominence somehow. I don't know. He's dumb as a rock. He always was. But, you know, he's still advocating for segregation and things like that. You still had these people who had these nefarious ideas. And when you start to wake people up to the fact, and this is the beautiful thing that's in this country, because there are plenty of facts to show, well, the Democrats started the KKK. Well, the Democrats did these. You kind of lead them down the path, right? And you show them, these are all the reasons why I don't understand why you're supporting this particular group of humans and the ideology behind it, because, you know, they work more to enslave people with their policies than they do to free them. And that's the other problem. And this is why I think MAGA works so well. And please correct me if I'm wrong, but it's because we want more liberty and freedom. We want people out of your business. You need to be done. Go out there. You want to collect rainwater in your backyard? Cool. You want to dig your own well? Cool. You want to do these things? Cool. Now, if you cause hardship for others, or you obviously chop through a power line or any of these other things, you're responsible.
Now you got an issue. Yeah,
exactly. And so, I mean, and again, this is my problem. I'm a left-leaning libertarian, so it's really easy for me to walk through all this stuff and say, you know, I'm in MAGA. I wasn't in MAGA. I've never been in MAGA. I've always voted, believe it or not, on the red side of the equation for the most part, despite having to hold my nose a couple of times. But there were people on the left I would have voted for. They just never made it through because those people always had the deck stacked against them.
Yeah.
So, and if you're not an open-minded person when you walk into a polling place, if you're not an open-minded person when you're listening to these politicians speak, you may be excusing or leaving out or not considering a brilliant idea that could change the way things work for everybody. And that's why I think, again, MAGA works better than anything else. But anyway, my whole point being, I really do believe that restoring liberty was kind of the reigniting of the lamp of freedom here in this country, because we want liberty and freedom for everybody. It doesn't take anything but common sense. When you start to put artificial restrictions on people, well, you can't talk about those people that way. Why? You know, I mean, I talk about everybody as I feel about them. That gets me in a lot of trouble.
Same here.
I believe in equality. I hate everyone equally.
Right. I'm all for it. Look, especially when I'm at the grocery store. Okay, but we don't have to get it. Either that or on a highway. But it doesn't matter.
In what neighborhood? The grocery store in what neighborhood?
Just consider this. When you restrict or you limit liberty and freedom, you limit everything else across the board. And that's what the administrative state is designed to do. Who built the administrative state full of regulation and laws? Who put the Department of Education in place? You know, who constructed social programs that would create reliances rather than further liberty and independence? This is a problem we need to work on.
Well, and let's not. I should say, let's not forget with Democrats, historically, they have been marketing geniuses that whenever they want to just sweep their history under the rug, they come up with some story and they sell it and market it, such as, oh, the party switched. They get rid of their entire history of slavery and segregation by just coming up with this bullshit. The party switched. How many elected officials switched parties? Like, basically zero.
What's crazy is that there actually was a party switch, and it was last year.
Now,
the party switch is happening right now. I mean, and this is why I don't understand. Like, I feel like the Democrats could so easily bounce back from all this, and all they have to do is just concede on a few wins, and
they won't.
Like, they were right. No, I should rephrase that. What I mean is, the left 20 years ago. And was right about things like big pharma and big food and the war in Iraq and that kind of thing. They were right about those things. Their overall point in their stances, they had the right message, but they're giving it all up now because Trump's on the other side of the aisle.
It's like Trump's in the center of every positions now.
Yeah, I'd like to jump in on Mikey's question. Could the Democrat Party go extinct? I think the problem they've got right now is they don't know what to do.
Yes.
They genuinely do not know what to do. Now, that's not mean that by that I mean this. It's not that they don't have the marketing or the money or the messaging or the anything else or the discipline to be able to do all those things. They've tried everything they would normally do to make it work. It just doesn't work. And now it's like, what do we do? Now, to the question, could they go the way of the Whigs? I think it's altogether possible because, I mean, and I'm gonna pull the old man card here. I can remember, and Culture can probably speak to this one too. I can remember, in the late 1980s, after the Democrats took their third drubbing in a row in a national election, and quietly they sort of went out in the woods and formed something called the Democrat Leadership Council, where they started coming up with policy ideas that were more to the center. And then out of that came a Southern politician by the name of Bill Clinton. And with a little bit of luck and a lot of political skill and some very good people around him, and I'll come back to that point here in a minute, Bill Clinton went on to wrest the presidency away from the Republicans after everybody thought they had a lock on it.
Yeah.
The problem for the Democrats now is there is no center-leaning people in the Democrat Party. I mean,
at least not among the ranks.
Yeah, the old joke I make is the inmates are now running the asylum. There is no Nurse Ratched to control everything. I mean, they've gone nuts, and there's no way to pull them back from that. I mean,
yeah.
And now I said a moment ago, people, keep in mind, back in like the early 1990s, you had a very in his prime James Carville. You had an in his prime Doug Schoen, pollster Mark Penn, other centrist Democrats.
Yeah.
That could, or Dick Morris, if you want to throw him into that group, who could pull the Democrat Party back from its excesses. The problem is now you got guys like Carville, Schoen, Mark Penn, they are the, seasoned citizens of the Democrat Party, and no one's listening to them.
Yeah, Carville
could have won in this election.
Yes, he could have.
Had he been listened to.
You used to be able to have people like James Carville and Mary Matlin who could disagree with each other, but now the Democrat Party
married.
It is just a cult of conformity now. You're not allowed to disagree. And I think where was it? The comment that I had up here before about the Young Turks trying to rebrand. I think I think that is what we're going to see, is that they're going to try to sell themselves as MAGA light, and they're going to take a bunch of these positions like you mentioned, Mikey. They're going to try to take back a few of those, and then the moment they get into office, they will go right back to doing all the same evil
I don't think Anna will. I don't think Anna will.
Anna's, I think,
I agree. I mean the Democrats in general. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, and that's just it. Yeah. If the Democrat Party, as we currently know it, does go extinct, and I think there's a very good possibility of it, it'll be for two reasons. One,
Right.
they would not moderate themselves or their views to come back to the center. And the second is the MAGA movement, not necessarily the Republicans. The MAGA movement delivers on the promises that they're making to the American people. And the American people see, hey, this works. You guys have nothing to offer me intellectually. From an idea standpoint, you have nothing to offer me. I'm not giving you my vote anymore. And it's starting to happen in big cities too.
Well, but okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. And Brian, I know you and I are following the same politics and the same politicians and the same advisors forever. So when you go back to, do you remember the contract with America?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's basically what MAGA is. This is what this whole campaign was, just a rebranded version of that kind of an idea. These are the things I'm promising. I'm going to do these things day one.
Yeah.
You know, and so again, that all is birthed out of Dick Morris's campaign with the Clintons, right? To bring Bill into power. Dick Morris, brilliant strategist. Okay, I'm saying it the Rush Limbaugh way. Sorry about that, but his strategery was ideal. But the problem is, he also created the most divisive time in American politics, which we've been living in since that moment with the Clinton campaign, because they relied strictly on wedge issues, not on the things we agree on, not on the things that maybe needed to be changed, but the things they could divide people on. Which is why abortion was kicked around the block for 4 decades. Which it shouldn't have been, and many of the other things, because you needed something to divide this side from this side. You know who's tired of that?
Everybody.
Yeah. So it's like, we need solutions, not divisions. We look, there's got to be a middle ground here we can all fight for together. Right. And again, and that's the heart of the MAGA party. At the same time, Trump made promises made, promises kept, and we're already well on the road, as Mike pointed out, reading off some of the executive orders.
Day.
Yeah. And again, Mikey, you should be in politics, dude. You need to go to some of these events.
I assume you mean him.
Yes, I do. I mean him.
Me?
Yes, I just said you should be a political operative.
I've worked in politics before,
right? You're born to it, man. You're born to it. You're like
I'd rather work in a titty bar.
Oh, that's understood. But no, Mikey, I think you're like the people my grandparents funded in politics, so you might consider it, because you have a good mind. But I look at it and I say, this is very like this. I like to point to the things that things are akin to, because it's very helpful to get there. It's like a touchstone on the road. Right. Yeah. Point of reference that everybody can glom onto. But the minute we stop dividing along that kind of stuff, and we try to talk about the solutions for those things, that's kind of what MAGA is. And I think that's kind of why this movement is more powerful than any other populist movement we've seen in the last 6 decades.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I wanted to go back, when we were talking about, a Trump dynasty. I wanted to throw the question out, if you guys, or just to see what you guys think about the notion that politics in general has been mostly lawyers. And, obviously Trump is a businessman. So even if it's not the Trump family themselves, do you guys see things going forward where people who are in business are going to be, either switching over, or people who have a background in it, and because we've seen, like, I was a never Trumper in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, and I was like, America is not a business, okay? You're not supposed to run it like that, and I was wrong. So,
you're right, but that's the way it used to be. Okay, so if we return to our roots, post the formation of the first Congress of the United States, and we can start talking along these lines, but this wasn't a profession. It wasn't a job. It wasn't a career. It was a temporary circumstance and situation. You get paid for it. You showed up and did what you said you were going to do because your constituency sent you there. You got there on a horse. You took a carriage. It took you forever to get there. It took you forever to get back. And you didn't stay any longer than you had to what eventually it moved, but what eventually became Washington, D.C. This was not a job. It wasn't a career. It wasn't a way to make money or to, eventually rob money from other people. Even though, there's no way on your $185,000 salary, you have $180 million in the bank. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But the point being is that, yes, we should return back to those roots. Yes, it should be everyday people. It should be a dentist. It should be a doctor. It should be the guy that owns the butcher shop. It should be this is. Let's get back to our roots. I'm all for it, Lutch. That was a great point, man. Good job.
Yeah.
By the way, parentheses. Sorry, let me just segue for a moment because I got a bit behind on the super chats. Funkmaster General, thank you so much.
You got a treat.
Yes, I was gonna say you gotta.
I'm on top of it. I'm on top of it.
The peaceful protest wing of the left is being very quiet over the past few months. It should be concerning to everyone. I was just about to mention this. I think, people were saying, is there going to be violence? Well, and I didn't expect that there would be, because I think the violence that we saw, the rioting that we saw, it was always coming from the top. And I think the message has come out from the top. Keep it in your pants for a little bit. I think they know that it's costing them.
Good point.
Also, by the way, Funkmaster General, oh my God, this is your third super chat ever. Thank you so much, dude. I am honored. Justin.
That'll be ours.
Was unfortunately reminded of my leftist seminary days when the prayer. Oh, we got to get to this. With the prayer service today, but Trump is president. Deal with it, lady, and take your false compassion with you, bitch. I added the bitch, but hell yeah. Oh, we got to get to that.
Did you see videos of that woman that they found?
No, I did.
Where she was ranting and raving through a 3M mask, and she had the same kind of woke crazy eyes. This was back in 2020.
Oh yeah,
they always got the eyes.
Yeah, at a George Floyd protest. I was going to do a video on it tonight and for in the morning, but other breaking news has sort of bumped that one to the side for a little while. But
send me that video. I haven't seen that.
Oh, yeah, put it in the typical stuff. Donated, I think, to Obama.
Shout out to Funkmaster General. Who is it? Black Conservative Perspective to cover that. I just put the link in the private chat.
Ooh, I'll get it. 1 sec. Let me just hit up the super chats. Frisch's, thank you, dude. In the UK, the Tories are close to extinction, but that has happened before over there. 100 years ago, the Labour Party replaced the Liberal Party, so it's once in a 100-year thing, but it can happen. Yeah, I would say also, I think this is sort of something that gets discussed every time one party wins. Like we were talking about James Carville. He wrote a book in 2008 called 100 More Years, saying how Democrats are going to win for the next 100 years. So kind of bringing it back to what LBJ said about what he'll have the ends voting for the next 100 years. Zadie, thank you so much. The Democrat Party is a crime syndicate like the mafia. Let's start getting real about that. Examine them from that angle instead of the angle of a legitimate political party. 100%. Did you send me the thing?
Send your what?
Oh, here it is.
Hey, Mikey, I just tagged you on Twitter. I'm going to drop this in the private chat. It's that video from back in 2020 of the lady Bishop.
Terrible.
Okay, so yeah, let's
do it. We should do it side by side. We get the lady from the inauguration and then this lady.
Yes.
See who's worse.
Okay, wait. So yeah, we'll set it up with this, and then we got to watch the prayer service. Oh my God, this looks nuts.
I've got. Hang on, let me get the prayer service thing in there as well for you.
I saw this video years ago, and I had no idea this was the same bitch.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
God. I snorted.
All right, you guys ready?
Born ready.
Why did you want to come out here and send their message? It is a message of a call for justice, for swift justice for George Floyd, for
I think you got
the knee of this country in ways that we have witnessed time and again. This is wrong. And this rising up, this spontaneous uprising of people,
how many fucking masks are you gonna wear, lady?
Younger, they're the ones we should be listening to.
And they're angry at the president.
They're so angry.
They're angry at the president. So what is your message to President Trump today?
Well, he should. I've given up speaking to President Trump. We need to replace President Trump.
How'd that work out, bitch?
That will lead us in the ways that this country deserves.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Where is she with this guy who looks like he came from Roots wearing
Everybody clapping.
It is a message of a call.
Oh my God.
At least they actually did clap. And not
Please clap.
Too much about this. Well, yeah, they always and everybody applauded. That doesn't happen. But apparently here it did. And, you see enough of these liberals that can't even articulate their stupid positions. So I'll give her flowers for being able to say what she said. Doesn't make much sense, but it's better than a lot of these protesters out there.
Okay, I got.
Oh yeah, watch the facial expressions on Trump, Melania, and JD especially.
JD was the best. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, because he wasn't even trying to hide how pissed off he was.
His head, he did the retracta head.
Now watch this.
Break your neck.
In the name of our God,
is the audio
I
coming
ask
okay
you
for you guys?
to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families. Some who fear for their lives.
What?
And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meatpacking plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals. They may not be citizens.
Look at Melania.
Or have the proper documentation.
Oh, there's daggers coming out of her eyes.
But the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes.
They are not
neighbors.
Immigrants.
The whole Trump family is like
our churches.
JD's looking over Trump going, can you believe this?
Yep. Trump's just so over it. This is every day.
I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away.
Who arranged this?
And that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger. For we were all once strangers in this land.
I was born here. What do you mean?
May God grant us the strength and courage
I think all brown people
to honor the dignity of every
aliens.
human being, to speak the truth to one
Look
another
at their
in love,
faces.
and walk humbly with each other and our God for the good of all people.
Therese.
Good of
Eric
all
is
people in
unhappy.
this
I mean,
nation.
there's nobody there
and the
that's having a good time.
We add on the fact that
Amen.
is Trump really a Christian? He's just doing this for show anyway, and then he's got to hear that. I feel for him. I feel for him. Do you guys think he's like really Christian, or do you think he just does that?
I do.
Trump.
He just seems very superficial.
I honestly don't know.
I was actually talking about this with Carrie yesterday. Is I used to agree with you that when he didn't really talk about it very much, but when he used to talk about God and stuff in 2016, it seemed like he was just saying it for politics. But I think he just in general seems like he's grown a lot the last few years, and everything that he's been through the last couple of years. I would guess has maybe brought him closer to God.
I
know you being a heathen atheist that you are. Hope he's not.
Yeah, Vance is for real, but yeah, definitely. If I've seen a bit more, just not solemn, but like serious when he's talking about that type of stuff. So I think since the assassination, then again, is he going to sleep with his Bible and whatever? Not that that's what you need to do, but I'm just saying he played that up. I gotta get my atheist stuff in there,
It's fine, but I'm just going to say that, believe it or not, Bible sales and readoption of religion has seen record levels of recovery in the last couple of years.
I know a lot of people who,
and I never try to evaluate somebody's faith or lack thereof, because it's a very personal thing. And I think that you really can't know another person's depth of their religious depth. Without spending considerable time with them and speaking with them about it. So, a lot of people would not believe that I was considering being a diaconal minister. So, I know. So but that was at the tender age of 18 years old.
Wait, what the fuck is a diaconal?
It's a different way of going to the faith and becoming a minister rather than going through a traditional ministry school of some sort, whatever you would like to call that.
Interesting.
I think they've got some like minister loopholes nowadays, because this bitch was talking about something with Black Lives Matter. I saw a video of her talking about, she was like, "Oh, my children." I'm like, wait, they can fuck now? I thought ministers couldn't fuck.
Well, no. You're thinking Catholic priests.
Catholic.
She is an Episcopalian minister.
Yeah, which means that they are literally the soy latte of Christianity.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, but I, like I said, I mean, in my faith, you either went to seminary or you did it, through alternate paths, which was diaconal. So, but I was considering that pathway. And again, I mean, I was a young person, 18, considering my marriage and everything else. And so when I talk to people about their faith, it's a personal conversation. That's the thing. You have to enter into that conversation like it's like something, because it's a deeply held belief. It's some of the things that people hold personally. Like I have a selection of things that I believe, my faith being one of them, but all the other things that are very personal. I don't often open up to a lot of people about those personal things. I don't think any of you do either, but you just have to consider that no, it's fine. You in no way were you offensive or anything. It's just, like I said, I give everybody the room that they need to be within themselves. So, but when you look at Trump specifically, I believe he has an immense amount of faith. I don't think he shares it publicly. It doesn't serve you well. It doesn't serve you well to talk about your faith in the face of business, politics, or anything else. In fact, because at any point in time, anybody's going to point out your hypocrisy.
Sure. I mean, definitely in business, I agree. Politics, I strongly disagree. But even you're saying that the Bible sales and stuff like that have gone up. I mean. And I could go on all day of this, but I believe that it's it's a rejection of leftism, and there's a false dichotomy of leftism or Christianity, and that doesn't.
Well, how about just good moral framework? Because then we can work in your thoughts behind it too.
Right, and so that's exactly what I'm saying. I think that a lot of people just use Christian and Christianity as a blanket kind of like, well, I'm a good person and I believe that there's something else out there.
Working inside a moral structure. Let's say it that way.
Yeah, that's my whole thing is, because I was brought up a Catholic, and through reading the Bible for the first time, studying human psychology and philosophy, I just realized that I didn't have enough a reason to believe, and I don't want to take religion away from anybody. I definitely see how there's huge benefits for many types of people. So I don't want to. I'm not looking to take people's faith away. Sure. My position is, to put it succinctly, that. How do you know that if Christianity gets us this close to God, that we can't do something else that gets us this close to God?
Well, I mean, I think ultimately a person's lifetime gets them closer to wherever they're going. So, but we'll separate all that from the circumstance. This is one of the weird times when we accept religion as part of what drives our country, is these types of services, right? This is something that's been debated forever and ever. As the conversation around the formation of this country has been debated forever and ever. So, the fact that they even go to this national prayer service is fascinating to me, even to this day, because the constitutionalist in me is like, how did we get here? But the understanding of how we got here in the first place, it makes an awful lot of sense. Every single person, for the most part, there were a couple of people, I think 4, that were not particularly religious that got involved in the formation of our country and the founding documents. But I will say that you're not going to be able to get away from "In God We Trust" or any of the framework upon which this country was founded, because it had to have a moral structure. What it couldn't have was a national religion. Mm-hmm. And that was left over from England and the repulsive nature of the Church of England and many other things. We could certainly talk about history later. But for the purposes of this, it doesn't really matter to me what your faith is. And that's a larger conversation. It's the big tent we were all just talking about. It's coming together under a set of ideals that, for whatever reason, argue with me or you don't, I don't care. But they're all morally based. Mm-hmm. What is right for the vast majority of people, the broadest possible of humanity within our society, and it has to be a civil society. And that's the other thing. The reason that it's so attractive, and I think Mikey, you'll agree, is because it's a return to civility. Now, it's not just common sense; it's the idea of treating people better, and being more welcoming than anybody else. It was so strange because, okay, I went to AmFest. I went to AmFest, right, which was in Phoenix, Arizona. Right this year, with Turning Point USA. I took video. I interviewed people there. I was working with vets talking and everything else.
Hey,
I know. And I was having one of the best times ever. I tried to get Mike to come. Mike was busy, but it had been.
I wanted to be there.
It had been crazy fun. But again, I met a lot of the people that we've seen in some of the videos lately that are going around now from the inauguration and everything else. But there are people there that were liberals. There were like Democrats trying to, come in and guess what? This happens to a person, it seems. They're terribly surprised by how welcoming MAGA is to everybody.
Right. I think that goes back to exactly what we were saying before about how MAGA, not the conservatives or Republicans, is the biggest umbrella. And and we can get off the religion thing, but long story short, I just type on, and I think the people who don't believe or weren't brought up in religion or whatever, again, seeing the push against whatever else is going on, and they see Christianity as the only answer, and that's fine if it works for people, but for somebody like myself who was brought up and then you could try, and I'm definitely open to it, but I've done a lot of work to try to get back to a place where I am convinced that that Christianity is correct, and I haven't gotten there, and so that's not an option for me. And so when the moral structure is wrapped around the truth claims of the religion, it makes it hard for people who can't get behind the truth claim to a lot of people will just see, oh, that God stuff, that's not for me. And I think MAGA has helped people who were on that side kind of come a little further or closer to our side.
Let me, by the way, segue. Friches, thank you so much, dude. And so many Jews going back to synagogue since October 7th. I've spoken to Chabad rabbis who have never seen anything like this. Yeah, I think I've seen that with a lot of people, Jews, Christians, but I love your heathen ways as well, Lutch.
Thank you.
Maddie, I miss you, dude. When are you going to come talk horror movies on here with me?
Invite me to that.
I always forget yes, please. That's like all I ever want to talk about. and this one hates horror movies, so I have to try to drag him to some.
That's weird.
No.
Did you see the terrible Wolfman that just dropped?
I haven't seen it. I have no desire to, but it looks horrible.
Yeah, I mean, this year I still think Alien Romulus, or I guess in last year, 2024, I think Alien Romulus was a good time. Oh my gosh, I forget the name of the ballerina vampire one. That was great.
Abigail.
Abigail, thank you. I thought that was extraordinarily good.
Have you seen Strange Darling?
No.
Most underrated movie of the year. It was.
I'll check it out. Because I'm a horror fan. I have been from forever. It's like between Star Wars and horror movies, that's what got me into cinema and animatronics and all the other stuff that I'm keen on. So yeah. Nosferatu, don't even get started. Still one of the best horror films. Like, I mean, look, Eggers killed it. Eggers might be like that next director. Wow, we got way off topic. Anyway, apologize, but you get me talking about horror movies. It's a whole other ballgame. So yeah.
Yeah, sorry. That's sort of what I always segue to.
Yeah, understood.
We need to talk about Trump dancing with a sword. That's the most important thing, though.
What? I didn't see that.
You danced with a sword?
You haven't seen that?
No.
Oh yeah.
Buddy, are you in for a
treat?
Rated? What's up, y'all?
I almost don't.
Thank you, Tom. Thanks for the raid, buddy. We appreciate
it. I'm honored. I don't get rated enough. I need to be rated more.
I've never been rated.
That sounded wrong.
I saw the thing in the chat. I was like, "What does that mean?" I'm on that.
Hey,
shout out to Mead.
Caleb. Look at all these great people. Thanks for coming in here. Stick around. We're going to talk about Trump dancing with a sword.
The most important thing. You guys are the best, though. Thank you. Wait, let me pull it up. Sorry, I'm very slow at this. Oh God, this was just. Oh my God, you know what we need to talk about too? Did you guys see what's his name? Billy Ray Cyrus.
Oh,
No.
God.
I heard
something. My gosh, it was awful.
What a mess.
Technical problems, substance problems, possibly
problems.
Yes, yes.
Oh my
bless,
gosh,
as we say here in the South, bless his heart.
Yes, your heart.
Yeah, that was awful.
Oh, I got it. Here it is.
That's usually not a good thing, Brian. You should probably tell people that.
Well, now wait a minute though. You got to understand, bless your heart is contextual.
That's true. That's true.
Depending on what you're using bless your heart for, it could be the old-fashioned F you, or it could be you so dumb, or it could be, man, you just a mess. You know, so I mean, bless your heart's contextual. You know.
Oh man, Tom, you want to talk about your favorite politician, Trump?
Who's favorite politician? He doesn't like him.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't normally talk politics, but he flipped, dude. You
there you go.
The movement flipped the guy into the MAGA field. It's amazing. So,
yeah. Like I said, I think that's happened with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I think the persecution. I think, Mikey, correct me if I'm wrong, or Brian, or anybody, but I think the fact that everybody could see just how like targeted everything was at him. I think that people are like, what is happening right now? I mean, I know that drove a lot of the black vote, and I know. I mean, I said the word, but it drove a lot of minorities to be like, hey, what's happening here?
I think it was a combination of, yes, like a lot of people flocked to Trump this time around, but I also think too a lot of Democrats stayed home, and I don't think a lot of people are really talking about that, but I think between them taking out Biden at the last minute and just installing Harris, that really turned off a lot of people, and that either got people A, to stay home, B, to vote third party and go for Joe Stein, or C, actually go for Trump. So there was a lot of, I think it was a mix of those two things. But yeah, I don't know, like it, to me, with Harris, like, if you're going to install anyone, that was the last person to install.
Oh, they cornered themselves.
Like,
they cornered
could
themselves.
have picked anybody.
They couldn't though. They cornered themselves. Back with Obama, they were like, okay, we need a white guy here. You know, the old grandpa white guy to get people to vote for the black guy. So they brought in Joe Biden. Then now we got an old white guy and things have flipped. So we got to bring in a colored woman. And then
she really was in such like a really difficult spot, because even though we all can't stand her, in a way you do have to kind of look at it from her shoes. It's like there was nothing she said that she could have said or done during her time campaigning that would have appealed to anybody, because she was trying to distance herself from Biden, but at the same time she was trying to like be like Biden and like cozy up to be like,
like, would you have done anything different? Can't think of anything.
And then you had like the Israel-Palestine conflict, which like that's a big divide in their party right now. So like she was damned if she did, she damned if she didn't. So
well, that's the thing. The radical left is the monster that they created, and it's a monster that they're terrified of. But more importantly, how did I miss this? I need to see this shit.
Oh, it's not real. But I did dance as I did dance as Hobo Gandalf. So like, yeah, when my channel
that real.
When my channel got 25K, I put on a Gandalf costume and a hat, and for 5 minutes, that was the intro to the show. With me,
I thought this was your Gandalf costume.
Oh no! Oh, you want me to go get the Gandalf costume? You don't want me to get the Gandalf, but I do know this. I do know this. Tom, thank you very much. It's great to see everybody, and I have no problem saying black. I have a huge black audience, and no, they're not fat. I mean, maybe some, but I'm just saying. It's fine.
They're gonna start saying that. Say black, like how they're like say gay.
Say gay. Yeah, I think it's fine.
So I heard about the whole Kamala Harris thing.
Yeah.
That they pushed out Joseph Biden, obviously.
They did.
That is true.
Pelosi
that is true.
All the rest of them pushed Joseph Biden out. And remember that weird, bizarre letter that came out the next day of, yes, I'm doing this, what's best for the country, and I'm going to push for Kamala Harris. Well, apparently that was not approved by the Democrat powers that be.
No. I was just going to ask. I was going to say, put it in the chat if you think Biden actually knew about that.
There and forced everyone's hand.
Yeah, that to Chris's point, when this went down, basically, and this has been commented on. There's a legendary investigative reporter named Seymour Hersh who did reporting on this. Basically, what happened was the Democrat Party knew they had to get Biden out, because after that debate, it was a disaster and he was in free fall. But he was so convinced and so insulated, no one could get to him. So basically, they came up with a plan. Pelosi and Harris would send Obama to Biden and say, look, if you don't get out, Kamala's going to go to the cabinet and invoke the 25th Amendment, and they'll have you removed. So, message gets delivered.
Yep.
Biden talks over with a couple of his close advisors, and on a Sunday morning, and Pelosi, and on a Sunday morning in July, he announces he's getting out by way of Twitter. However, 1/2 hour later, he immediately came out and endorsed Kamala. Mm-hmm. What the plan was, when Joe got out, was they would have an open primary, or at a minimum, an open convention, because the convention was basically a little over 30 days away. Biden said, okay, you're going to force me out. Here's what I'm going to do to you in the process. And by endorsing Kamala, he locked everybody in the Democrat Party in place. Nobody could make a move. And you'll remember the last major players in the party to endorse Kamala were the Obamas.
Yep.
They were the last ones. They were the holdouts.
So
because go ahead.
You're just so I'm clear. You're saying that Biden did, once they pushed him out, he did that and endorsed her as like kind of a FU. Yeah,
an FU, and he also knew it would force everybody in the party to get behind her. Otherwise, you would have an open convention in Chicago, and no one could guarantee the result.
I'm curious
because she was just so ambitious. She took the bait. Go ahead, Mikey.
I'm curious. Who do you guys think is? It's so early, but still, like just kind of talk this out for a bit. Who do you guys think is would be their best shot in 28?
Democrats?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let's see.
It's like, I've thought about this, and it's really tough to say. I mean, I personally don't think anybody really has a shot, frankly. I mean,
Shapiro.
It's good. They have to go. It has to be a governor. It can't be anybody but a governor. They have nobody of authority in any other position.
Yeah,
it has to be a governor.
That's the only name that I could even throw out there that I would recognize.
I agree with Les. I would argue Josh Shapiro. The problem is, I don't think the Democrat Party will give him the nomination because he's Jewish.
I agree.
I hate to say that, but
they're talking about everyone else as a Nazi.
Well, they wouldn't put him on the ticket for vice president, so why should I believe they're going to put him on the ticket as the presidential nominee?
Bingo. I was going to say same thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really tough. I mean, I was looking at polls to see who is their front runner. Of course, it's Kamala, which I'm hoping is the case again because we'd win. But I mean, there's people that are saying Newsom, and I heard Beto O'Rourke get thrown around, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
They do.
No.
Stop trying. That is trying to make fetch.
I know.
No, it's not going to happen. Wait, by the way, parentheses, culture. What's Tom's X? Why can I not find it?
Midnight's Edge.
But yeah,
culture,
you guys
sorry, I'm muted. I just figured that out. It's under Mead, MEAD, capital letters. You'll find it.
Oh, duh! I keep searching Tom.
You guys saw that?
I've been trying to get that bitch on here forever.
Yeah, he should come on here now. He's the voice. He's the voice of reason. Well, gosh, and I said that out loud in front of people.
He is the only person I think who is as nerdy with movies as I am.
Chris, who do you think?
About who could be the Democrat person, or whether or not he's the nerdiest about movies?
No. Who could be the Dem nominee?
Oh, I think they're going to make a push for Newsom. As slimy as he
I agree.
is,
Yep.
and every time you look at him, you just need to take a shower when you're done with it. I think it's going to be him because, listen, you do not have a CIA contractor like Sean Hannity host a debate with Newsom for no reason. Newsom and DeSantis, really? So Newsom, for what it's worth, is trying to cuddle up to Trump. Remember, Newsom said, well, we have to thank Donald Trump for bringing the Olympics to LA in 2028. So he did a fine job with, he's already pushing this kind of unity rhetoric. And it is just disgusting that we even have to deal with this. As far as other people,
nobody likes
really want
him.
Kamala Harris? I don't think so. I don't think the Democrat leadership want Kamala Harris either. But otherwise, Whitmer? Gretchen?
No. Yeah. You do not want anybody who's made negative headlines in 27 states. It has to be an unknown Democrat.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
seriously, like you want to throw another person of color? No, you get the guy from Maryland, Wes Moore, or you pull
that'd be a good one.
How about Hakeem Jeffries? Throw that.
No, nobody likes him.
Yeah, like,
everybody hates that guy.
He's dime store Obama.
I feel like it's gonna be somebody that like nobody's ever heard of.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, that's where I'm at it, really.
See, I would have thought maybe a year or two ago that Michelle Obama would have been their best hope, but I don't even know about that at this point.
No,
I think
not with Jennifer Aniston working in the background.
Oh yeah, what is that about?
She's trying out for a new role as a beard.
No,
I don't even think
done.
she can play that one.
No, I'm telling you right now. I mean, innuendo and assertions aside, she'd have less appeal than Hillary, like by miles.
Agreed.
So I can't see
Michelle?
that happening either. Yeah, Michelle Obama. Big Mike.
Ooh,
if
I
you
don't know
want
about
to
that one.
Big
Mike.
But look, and that's the other problem, right? She still has that hanging over her head, and it's interesting. Anybody who's ever gone after Hillary or after Michelle ends up dead. Right? Or floating in a pond after cooking the president some food. You don't know. I'm just saying.
It's been that bad.
It must have been.
The reason I think it's going to be somebody unknown is because everybody, everybody that's like that we're talking about is part of this system that clearly doesn't work to a degree that even like on the left they're like, oh, we shouldn't do that. A lot of people are talking about Newsom, and I do think if it's not a newcomer, it's going to be him. Just the name recognition, the even after the fires, I don't think.
Dude, they're trying to get him out.
California.
The guy's been through how many recalls already, and that's all somebody has to just keep pointing out, dude. You were so unpopular in your own state. You faced how many recalls? And the only reason that you won is because of the financial system working in your favor to push you forward. And your state's been losing population, and you've been destroying business. Your overregulation has basically made it impossible for people to thrive in your state any longer. You used to be the globe's 7th largest economy. Let's watch you slip slowly into the debt hole that you've put yourself in.
Exactly.
So nobody likes him outside of California. Nobody. Governor Goodyear
don't even like him anymore.
Governor Goodyear is bad news, dude. I understand the appeal. I do, but and I hate to push it down, but
libs will just always never cease to surprise me about how far they will just double down or backtrack.
Have you guys seen the clip of Bill Maher saying how he wants Gavin Newsom to run for president, and then he gets pushed back on it, and they're like, why? What has he done? And he just falls apart. He can't name one single thing.
No idea.
Bill Maher's such an idiot. I'm sorry.
I have like a love-hate relationship.
I'm over giving him like kudos.
He's just like, I know everything. Okay, if you don't agree with me, then what are we even doing here? Okay. Oh my God. So smug.
Sassy.
This is so true, by the way. Ugh, I have to go to LA tomorrow. I'm not looking forward to it.
Oof. So, guys, I have to get going because I have a 9 o'clock podcast. But I'll leave you with 2 other potential wild cards for the Democrats. Number 1, New York City, Eric Adams, New York City mayor, right? He has gone against the Democrats.
Yes, but those corruption
whenever he
charges.
tries to get out of his tailor's store, And whenever he's not snorting blow at 4 a.m. at all of these different parties that he goes to all the time, he does align himself with Donald Trump because he says he's an American before a Democrat. And he is more than happy to get dangerous illegal immigrants out of New York City. He did not say illegal immigrants altogether. He just wants the dangerous ones out so that he can bring back tourism. Because the only thing that is keeping Midtown afloat right now is the government paying for the hotel rooms. Otherwise, there would be no tourism after COVID. And the second one comes from the Bronx. This guy is a sniveling little worm that tries to market himself as Barack Obama 2.0, and that is Richie Torres. Richie Torres portrays himself as some great leader. He gets over 50% of his funding from outside of his district. He also introduced legislation back during the COVID mandates that would force people to show their medical records if they wanted to take any kind of public transportation. So that includes the metro, it includes airlines, buses, Greyhounds,
freedom,
Amtrak, and everything else. This guy is one of the most despicable, forked-tongued imbeciles that you can ever run across, which makes him a prime candidate for the Democrats in the next couple of years.
Michael, thank you so much for being here, dude. Where can people find you?
You can find me on X, C. Michael's Show. I am on the America Emboldened Network with Greg Bolden. He was supposed to be here tonight, but he had a bit of an emergency to take care of. You can follow him at Real Greg Bolden, and we do a show. Actually, we do a couple of shows per week. So you can find us. You can follow me, like I said, C. Michael's Show for the Chris Michaels Show, and you can follow Greg at Real Greg Bolden on X.
Give him my
love. I followed everyone here, so I don't want to hear any excuses.
No. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. I will follow you back when we're done and I go back to Twitter. I will say this. It's great to meet you, dude. You're brilliant. I'm gonna be checking you out, man. Thanks.
Samesies.
I'm flattered.
Yeah.
Samesies. Yeah, I really appreciate your contributions here.
All right, guys. Have a good one. I'll see you next time.
Dude.
Take care, sir.
All right. Bye.
And everybody, welcome to the show. The lovely, the beautiful Tom Connors.
Yay!
What?
Up, dude?
Finally, I get on a live stream with this character.
Culture got me the link, and we're here. I'm here.
I sent it to him, but I forgot to push send. I'm smart.
You'll have that in the big city.
I need that sound effect to just follow me around everywhere I go.
I felt like that after every Saturday night. So there you go.
How you doing, dude?
I'm doing all right. Just eating some supper. Just got done with my stream. How are you guys?
Yeah, thanks for the raid, dude.
Not bad.
Yeah, thanks for the raid, brother. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it is.
Well, if I'd known Culture was here, I wouldn't have sent all.
That's such a lie.
It has been an epic 24 hours.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, did you guys see that that sit down with the Free Press from Mike Johnson, the speaker? It's bro. This is one of the biggest, or it should be one of the biggest scandals in at least modern politics, and it's just not because we essentially already knew. But yeah,
also I did not know this, Marion. Is that happening now or soon? I gotta watch.
We're definitely gonna cover that.
Yeah, we got to look at that.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, one sec. I'm pulling stuff up.
But you would think that you have an idea of how far these people are willing to go, and there's always just one more level.
Oh yeah, here's the clip.
Any personal animus at all. I mean, in some ways, I actually kind of feel sorry for Joe Biden. I mean, he's in the twilight years of his life. He is not, obviously, has not been in charge for some time. And I know this by personal observation, and now the whole world knows it. And
you think I'm overselling this?
Very concerning to me over the last
I'm not.
year and a half.
No, listen to the story.
Story when you say personal observation, what
well, I mean, it's public now because the Wall Street Journal got it and put it on the front page. But January a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, I had been asked. I became speaker in October 2023, and there were all sorts of big national security concerns and everything going on. And I started requesting a meeting with the president because, I'm kind of old school. I'm a constitutional law guy. Speaker of the House should be able to talk to the president, especially in times of great national interest and calamity. But they wouldn't let me meet with him, and his staff kept giving excuses. This went on for like 8 or 9 weeks. I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker, he doesn't have time. What are you talking about? I'm second in line of the presidency. He has time. I need to talk to him. We had, I can't say the classified parts, but we had some big national concerns at the time that I was losing sleep over. Finally, I just went to the Hill Press Corps and I said, the president is not being allowed to meet with the speaker. There's a problem. So they started putting pressure on him. Long story short, they finally relented. They invited me to the White House. I show up and I realize it's actually an ambush because it's not just me and the president. It's also Kamala Harris, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem, you know, the CIA director, everybody. And then, so I walked in the Oval and, I know what this is. They're going to hotbox the speaker on Ukraine funding. That's what it was. This is probably third week of January. We sit down, we're in the midst of it, and the whole conversation, and I'm going, we don't need to have this conversation. The president reaches over just like this. We're sitting right next to the fireplace in the Oval, and he grabs my arm and he says, "Got some ice cream, man? Speaker and I just need a couple minutes together. Will y'all just leave us alone?" And I looked up on the faces of some.
Can I snip your hair?
They're like, no, he did it.
Everybody terrified.
Commander in Chief. So everybody leaves, and he and I are standing off
terrified
in the middle of the Oval Office, right over the rug by that coffee table. And I said, "Mr. President, thanks for the moments. This is very important. I got some big national security things I need to talk to you about that I've heard, and I think you know. And what do we do?" And
you judge if I oversold it.
President, can I ask you?
No, it's perfect.
I cannot answer this from my constituents.
Oh, we ain't there yet. We ain't there yet.
Sir, why did you pause LNG exports to Europe?
Oh, the liquid natural gas.
Wait.
Gas is in great demand by our allies. Why would you do that? Because you understand, we just talked about Ukraine. You understand you're fueling Vladimir Putin's war machine because they got to get their gas from Japan, you know. And he looks at me stunned with this, and he said, I didn't do that. And I said,
wow.
Yes, you did. It was an executive order, 3 weeks ago. And he goes, "No, I didn't do that." And he's arguing with me. I said, "Mr. President, respectfully, could I go out here and ask your secretary to print it out? We'll read it together. You definitely did that." And he goes, "Oh, you talk about natural gas." "Yes, sir." He said, no, you misunderstand. He said, "What I did is I signed this thing we're gonna conduct a study on the effects of LNG." I said, "No, you're not, sir. You paused it. I know. I have the terminal, the export terminals in my state. I talked to those people this morning. This is doing massive damage to our economy, national security." It occurred to me, Barry, he was not lying to me. He genuinely did not know. And I walked out of that meeting with fear and loathing because I thought, we're in serious trouble. Who is running the country? I don't know who put the paper in front of him, but he didn't know.
Jesus.
Okay,
I think it's been pretty obvious who's been running the country.
All right,
Jill or somebody else, but it has not been him.
Okay, but I have a problem here, and it's after the fact, so it does. In one sense, it doesn't matter now. I'm sorry, Mr. Constitutional Lawyer, Speaker of the House, if you knew this man was incapacitated to the point that he could not perform the duties that he is constitutionally required to do, why did you not invoke the 25th Amendment or bring this out in the public?
Oh, okay, I'll ask you a question, Brian.
Okay.
Kamala was better at that point?
That's not the point.
I agree.
All right. Do I
What?
think she's better? No, because
She has a
bigger
pulse.
idiot. Okay, but
So
at least she had a functioning brain.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Half of one, but
just a clarifying.
Before 5, she did have a functioning brain. After that, it was pickled by vodka. No wonder Stoli went bankrupt.
it was pickled.
So, Brian, just a clarifying question on that. By him being the speaker, he's in a position to
He's third in line.
Initiate, hey, we need to get him out of here.
Third in line.
If not initiate, I mean, that's something of a debate between constitutional scholars. But as I understand it, the House leadership or the leadership of either the cabinet or the Congress can invoke the terms of the 25th Amendment.
But
And even if he couldn't, he needs to be saying, we need to examine this because there needs to be public pressure brought here.
Except that this has been a problem forever. The staff knew about it. The press knew about it.
Yeah.
CJP. I mean, by the way, CJP should never be trusted for any job ever.
No.
Now, after her performance in the White House.
And I mean, the other question is what would that, the whole media establishment was sharp as a tack.
Yep.
So if he comes out with this, then, it's just going to be swept in, it's MAGA conspiracy, blah, 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 blah.
They did say that.
And,
I mean, this was the gaslighting of America, and it's been able to just be swept under the rug and pretended like it never happened. It's crazy. We've had a corpse as president for 4 years. For 4 years, we didn't know who was president. We were talking about his pardons. He didn't pardon anyone. Someone did.
Don't forget the Atlantic article that came out in 2020 or 2019, whatever, before that election. If I remember precisely, please, Joe Biden, please, we just need your corporeal form. This was before the term. They were already saying you're just a bag of bones.
Yeah, before the fortification.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, which was admitted to in front of everybody. But you know what? It gave me some great moments. Not for the United States, but as we got closer and closer to this election that we won as MAGA, Tom perfected his Joe Biden impersonation.
You did? Smelling stuff, man.
It's true.
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't sign nothing.
Mr. President, it's a pleasure to have you here tonight. How are you enjoying your post-presidential retirement?
Ice cream.
Okay. I can see a lot of that being on the menu. Are you and Jill out walking around in Delaware together now?
Jelly bean. I love jelly beans.
Okay, that's good. I mean, I suppose jelly beans are good on ice cream. But what are you doing for hobbies now? I mean, have you taken up any new hobbies now that you're retired?
I've seen them movies. I wasn't too big of a fan of The Hobbit. And what?
Okay, well,
thank you so much, former President.
Former President Biden. Thank you very much. And go back to sleep. We'll wake you up when you're needed. Thank you.
Never. But yeah, I mean, Joe Biden needs to do Rogan, bro. That would be. I don't even think that would be epic. It would just be so boring, and it would be sad. It'd be like,
sad's the right word.
And exactly as Mike Johnson said, like, it's not that, I mean, certainly Joe Biden was a terrible, horrible, very bad, no good person all of his life. But, you get there, and when you lose it, you don't get, it doesn't erase what you've done. But, we have a little bit of grace for people that age.
I have none. See,
unless they're in office.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's the thing. I felt very sorry for him.
I did too.
During the campaign in 2020. Joe Biden as president, I feel sorry for all of us. I feel sorry for the country.
Yep.
Like I stopped really giving a shit about his welfare.
Let me ask you a question, Mike, because this is a fair question. I think everybody can answer it. You don't feel sorry for him being used?
Nope.
Because no. But I mean, seriously, he was used.
He spent his whole life getting into the position of being used. Exactly. Let's say even if he was sharp as a tack, the Democratic establishment is using the president as a puppet for whatever they want to do. So since he was 30 years old, he's been working to be that puppet. So
to be a puppet?
Yeah.
So you're saying that he spent his whole life to be a butt puppet?
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, is the contention that politicians don't understand that?
I'm just mad because I found the rainbow connection.
He did, actually.
If you're 30 years old today and you get into politics with the goal of being the president, then let's take it before, because Trump is a different story. So let's go back to Obama. If you're 30 years old, you see Obama, and you're like, I want to be the president. If you understand enough about how politics works, of course you understand that everybody's out to get their own. You got to do favors and do this and that, and it's that big club. So yeah, absolutely. I think if somebody just shoved him in at 83 years old, then it would be a whole different story. But he spent his entire life trying to get exactly where he was until 2 days ago.
Yeah, well, Barry spent his whole fake life getting to where he ended up. So let's just speak honestly about Barry Sointo or Soroto or whatever his actual name was. And look,
I mean, better, but
yeah, we.
He's not that old yet. And when Obama gets that old, I won't feel that bad about him.
I don't feel bad.
Publicly excoriated.
Yeah, I mean, set aside the fact that it was mentioned here earlier, so I'm going to say it, that you know, Barry needed a beard. You know, whatever Big Mike turns out to be. I'm just gonna say, nobody was fooled. At the end of the day, you know, whether you know, you can arc inside people left and right, but at the end of the day, the truth will be known. You can't do anything about it. I mean, look, if Trump follows through on releasing the JFK assassination records,
That'll be
which I believe he will, probably in the next few days, to be fair. Look, if you want to own the news cycle, just keep revealing the depth of depravity of the other party.
Yep.
Right.
And
I mean, and the mainstream media can't hide it. That's the thing. You cannot hide from the truth. When the truth is revealed, it's there forever.
Forever.
That's right.
Forever.
I wanted to ask you, how are you feeling about the incoming Trump presidency? I think Culture had said that you flipped for him.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I've always kind of been more or less lefty. And just I noticed too everything that all you guys were talking about before with how the media has been treating him. And once I kind of started learning how to speak Trump, it all kind of made sense to me. Oh, really, Sadie? I think so. Yeah.
I like that, learning to
Well
speak
said.
Trump.
Yeah, well
Yeah,
said.
really, because once you miss my dog, she's over here growling. Basically, once you learn how to speak what he's saying, then you kind of get where he's coming from, and it's so easy for the media to manipulate what he is saying into something else. It's just been, you know, nuts for the last 8 years or whatever. So
Yeah, when I first
and
heard,
honestly,
when I first heard, you don't take him literally, you take him seriously. I was just like, I get it now.
Yeah. Selena Zito's great line.
Totally this, Sherry. Sorry, Brian, what were you saying?
No, Selena Zito's great line is that Trump's enemies take him literally, but they don't take him seriously. Trump's supporters take him seriously, but they don't take him literally. And
No,
that's what people don't get.
he's an entertainer. Okay, so here's
humor,
the thing, right?
no
This is the
irony.
businessman.
Oh, I just
But wait, Tom, this I'm directing. Actually, I'm directing at everybody, but he's an entertainer. He's a businessman, but he's an
comedian
entertainer.
at that usually.
Yeah. He exists in our world. That's why Tom and I, like, we speak Trump. It was not that hard. The guy is an entertainer. He produced the best, like, live action television show for reality that I've ever seen. The Apprentice was genius. The guy understood who he's talking to. The Art of the Deal. This guy wrote books. Read his books. You understand him better. You understand the idea behind what he did. How he disarms people, how he engages people, how he engenders himself to people, and
Conducts
like,
business and all that. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
how he pulls people in when he shakes their hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to the man, and I think another aspect of people not getting it is that these career politicians are kind of narrow. They don't have much to them. And so when there's personality and there's jokes and there's, mannerisms or whatever it is, that's not presidential. And personally, I said that many, many times in 2015 and 2016. But just like you were saying, once you learn, that's how to read it, that's how to hear it, then it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, well, okay, because he speaks plain language. So that's the other problem people don't get. Like, you can talk plainly to people. Trump does that. Politicians don't do that. So you when you describe career politicians, which you just did, Lutch, what they have is a lot of breadth, but they don't have any depth.
Yep.
And that's where we live. I'm glad Mikey's back. I feel like he was gone forever. I feel like he decided to take a vacation from.
I feel like there's a bromance happening here, and I'm a little jealous.
My Wi-Fi has been very weird, so I finally got it back up and working.
Oh, good. No, it's just like I just because I told him he could be a career politician or an operative, it's true. He could be. He's got all the skills.
I don't know if
Kind
I
of
take
answer
that as
your
an insult or
Well, and that kind of raises the question of, like, is it that like someone who you would look at and be like, oh, you would be good in politics, is that really the case as of this modern thing. Let's just say as of Trump, the entire perspective, or the not perspective, but the entire archetype of what a president is has completely been shattered. And so, Mike, I'm not saying you wouldn't be good in politics. I'm just saying somebody in 2008, you'd say, oh, you'd be great at politics.
Do you know? Okay, well, I'm going to tell you right now. So, in modern MAGA terms, right, or in MAGA times, I would say somebody like Tom would be great at a MAGA politician because he's funny,
I would
he's
love
engaging.
that.
Yeah, it's like the thing is he's a brilliant comedic mind, and you just pointed out what you have to be as a comedian. You have to look at the world differently. You have to see all the opportunities, all the different angles, and understand what the reality is of a situation and what a potential solution is. And as Musk has said many times, mind you, now a politician, the most entertaining outcome is the most likely.
Well, I'll answer your question pretty succinctly. What was that? Am I running?
Run for shit.
I don't think anybody would want to vote for my ass.
I do.
Well, you just be voting for my ass, and that's it. But no. No, but the three moments that kind of turned me over to Trump were really the assassination attempt, obviously. How he got up. He didn't cower. He didn't run for his fucking limo. He didn't hide under a bunch of Secret Service men. In fact, he couldn't if he wanted to because half of them weren't even big enough to.
Yeah.
But that being said, I mean, he stood right up and he's like, no, fight, right? So that was one big moment. The second thing that really kind of turned me completely over to his side and understanding him was when I saw him on Rogan. Seeing him for almost 3 hours or whatever it was, 3 hours talking to Rogan, and you realize they've been sitting here talking for this long, and we've only talked about Trump and what he's going to do for maybe 25, 30 minutes. This is how he must get the deals done, because he turned the whole thing around on Rogan. If you realize, they're sitting there most of the time talking about Rogan's career and all this stuff about Rogan, and it's like, so this must be how Trump actually gets people to like him. See, because this is,
I didn't even think about that. So you just said
it's a business kind of thing, right? Like, it's because how are business guys? They can talk a big game. You ever notice that with Trump? Is like he's said a lot of shit about people, but the next thing you know, they're the best friends, or at least they're in talking terms, and you can understand why, because he's the kind of guy.
Obama.
He gets you in close quarter, and he's like, look, let's be men about this, and let's talk a little bit, and he gets to know each other, and blah 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 blah. The typical thing. And then otherwise, it was the debates and just seeing how bad the media was coming at him, and he's like, this is 3 against 1, and and just the way he just kind of laid back and let them just kind of fucking just destroy themselves over that whole thing. I'm talking about the Biden one, of course. The Kamala one was a little different, but that being said, those were the 3 moments that turned me over.
I want to come back to that one sec, but I know our beautiful Brian has to get going.
Oh, I know. Sorry, Jen. No, it's been an absolute pleasure, and Mike, I'm looking forward to having you on the channel next week, brother. So that's gonna be a load of fun. Yeah, absolutely. I love this panel of people, and Chris, who's not here now, but you guys are absolutely fantastic, and I have a feeling that the next several years are going to give us a lot to talk about on our respective channels.
Oh yeah, and hopefully collectively. I'm going to say this was brilliant. Mikey pulled together a great panel. We're having a great conversation, and we're I just have to say, if you're not subscribed to Brian at the Front Porch Conservative, I've been a fan of this guy since he started out and had almost 100 people following him. I just huge fan.
Shout out to 1K.
Yeah. Congratulations.
And where can people find you, Brian?
You can find me on Twitter at The Front Porch C1. You can find me on Rumble at The Front Porch Conservative. And you can find me on YouTube at Talking on the Front Porch. I do videos. I do live streams. I'm going to do another video night tomorrow night. I'm on Tracy Barkley's channel for the Wednesday night newsroom. And this Saturday morning will be a live stream I do called Front Porch Brunch, which is a wrap-up of the news from the week. So tons to talk about. Mike, thank you for having me on here, brother. All you guys, I love you very much. Tom, I need to get you on my channel sometime, brother. I don't know when, but we got to have you on sometime.
Just hit me up.
Oh, I'll hit you up, brother. I have no worries about that. Gents, thank you very much, and you guys have a fantastic evening.
I love you, brother, man.
All right, be good, boys.
Take care.
Everybody better go subscribe to this guy, because he is a real one. He's the greatest.
I think to answer the original question, I like the idea of presidents going forward being like your average everyday person, but I do think that having some sort of background in not so much law, well,
Business.
I'm sorry, not so much politics, but somebody who does have an understanding of policy and how it works and how to implement certain things is important. I don't want someone going in not knowing, how government works and that kind of thing. And I'm not saying anyone here is saying that, but I do think it's important to have some sort of somewhat level of an understanding, of like policy implementation and how to get legislation passed, how to write legislation, that kind of thing, because it is very, very important. And I think that, I think a lot of people in the GOP, the more non-MAGA-ish types, like the Rand Paul and Thomas Massie, they're very much still kind of aligned with us, or I'm actually more aligned with them, but you know what I mean? Like,
well, they're libertarian. I mean, those are
with them on some pretty key things that MAGA will.
Yeah, and Mikey, I hate to tell you. Yeah, but you're cutting
and that's
out
where, and that's the camp that I kind of fall in a little bit more, but I'm realistic. Am I?
One second. Okay. One sec. Okay. We'll come back to stuff, but I have to say, oh my God, thank you so much, Marianne. I need to get a damn plaque in honor of Marianne or something.
Marianne's big love with you, dude.
She's like a sponsor of this channel. I owe you many pasta dinners, Marianne. You got to come visit Florida. Okay, guys, I'm tired. Y'all have a great evening. MAGA baby. And I know you're gonna have a great evening, and I know you're gonna have a great 4 years. This is crazy. It all feels so surreal to me. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can't
just begun.
Wow, now I hear that song. I hear Karen Carpenter in Med.
We've only just begun.
Thank you, Tom. Tom and I share the same brain, but Tom and I also share the same.
Some days.
That's true.
That just makes me think of Happy Gilmore.
We also share the same friends, and Toxic Man Flu, was like the guy behind the scenes saying, "Oh no, this isn't going to happen. Trump's not going to be inaugurated. It's going to be Hakeem Jeffries. He's somehow going to get in there." And I'm like, "You're a crazy person." Of course, it didn't happen, but that was honestly a fear. Like I had friends instilling fear in me that this day would never happen. Day one. We're on day two. Doing pretty good.
I never thought it would happen. I never thought it would happen because in 2020, I thought it was the surest of sure things in the world. Traveling and doing speeches, stuff, you could feel the momentum. And when that went how it went, I was like, I don't know if it's possible for elections to be won legitimately anymore. But it turns out it is.
Wait a minute.
I think the thing that should have told us most about everything is how many pardons that Biden has given out in the last a few days.
Is it the number or is it the type and people?
The type and people and the number. Like all of that says everything you need to know about the last 4 years right there.
Criminals. Dude, he's not even a smooth criminal. He's just an obvious criminal. Dude would make like Michael Jackson embarrassed. I'm just saying right now. Like, and the Biden crime family, I'm telling you right now, I truly believe that if the Supreme Court looks at the law, you cannot preemptively pardon shit. You can't do it.
At this point, like, would you? Because obviously, if Trump was trying to do, or whoever was on the right, let's say that for whatever reason Trump couldn't run a second term, and we still won with somebody else who was MAGA. Then at the end of their term, if they tried to do exactly that, the left would flip out and have the machine behind them. And yet here we see this catastrophe of ethics, and they just don't care because it's not their side, or it's not their side doing something wrong. So just like
they own the media. So let's explore that just for a second. Joy Reid was freaking out at the fact that Trump could possibly pardon his family on his way out the door,
which would be a horrible thing.
Yes. Oh yeah. But
pull that up.
Not a freaking peep on the way out the door that Biden does the unthinkable and preemptively pardons like everybody who was definitely involved in a conspiracy, plus everybody in the criminal endeavor, which, that Catherine Herridge lady, she might have been a pain in the ass for a lot of different news organizations because she was dedicated to getting to the truth. And you know what?
How dare she? How dare she?
She's getting to the truth on the Biden crime family. There's a lot of new allegations. Fox News was busting out stuff today. This is not going to go well, especially if the Supreme Court decides you cannot preemptively pardon anybody who has yet to be either charged or convicted of a crime. Yeah, it is. Thank you.
I really hope the states will try to get Fauci and take his balls and thumbtack him to the wall.
Please. I try to say, I don't hate people. I don't hate anybody. But Fauci is just in a league of his own. You don't need to wear a mask, okay? Of course you need to be wearing a mask. Senator Paul, you don't know what you're talking about. It's not gain of function research. We just changed the definition. Like, come on, man.
And let me just say, the Italians, Mikey, right? Disavow Fauci. I guarantee you.
He's not one of us.
He is not. I guarantee you he makes jarred sauce. He puts pineapple on his pizza. He is a Metagon.
He's a fake Italian.
Wait a minute. This guy does not stew his tomatoes. He doesn't stew his Romas before making his sauce.
Thank you. There's no San Marzanos. There's not. No. He probably gets like a jar of shit.
He's a ragu guy. That guy is an old school ragu dude. I'm telling you right now.
He is.
And then, of course,
the boss makes me incredible sauce for the pasta. I don't have to do it, but I could do it. I got Roma tomatoes right behind me in the greenhouse. I can go out there. No. But she learned the right way. I am fed well, kids.
You got to come to Florida. I'll feed you guys.
All right. Well, you know what? If you tell Tom that, Tom's going to start living with you.
Tom, oh my God, Tom!
Trust the science. I am Fauci, the bringer of death and decay.
Who keeps doing that?
Tom, can you imagine the day we get to hang out and have a movie marathon? It is going to be the nerdiest shit to ever happen.
Oh, dude, you guys are so like aligned in the watching of this. You guys have the same cinema taste too. It's great. I would love to watch that. I need a video of you guys just watching film.
Oh, we should do that.
I've been dying to start a pop culture channel. It's obviously I love politics and religion and all that stuff, but then I'll be watching, whatever. And nobody on my Twitter or Discord, they're like, oh yeah, I don't watch that stuff. I don't do it. Like, oh, come on, guys. Shout out to King Urbano. We've been watching Severance.
I'm on a big David Lynch kick right now.
Oh, it's such a shame. He was working with Netflix on a couple of projects and some other things. I was like, dang.
I've actually, though, somehow never seen Twin Peaks, so I'm in the middle of about to watch it for the first time. I know.
I've never seen it either.
But there's a Mulholland Drive.
Muted.
You're muted. I think he's upset about me not having seen Twin Peaks and went on mute.
Still muted.
Does he know he's on mute? Or is it a bit?
No. Well, I was waiting for Tom to do the kung fu voice stuff. Anyway, yeah. No, but Tom and I, dude, I love him. I love him so much. He's a great loss. So many different projects in the cooker. I feel like we missed out, because again, emphysema kind of just kicked that dude's butt. It's a good argument for not smoking stuff, but at the same time, it's fine, Mike. You're fine. But this guy smokes trees 24/7. So
let's go.
Honestly, I don't nearly as much as I used to. But yes, yeah, no. David Lynch, on the other hand, he did. He smoked constantly.
Yeah, dude was a chimney.
But he was rolled up for later.
I can't believe you've seen it. I've been wanting to text you all week, telling you to watch it because I knew you would love it. I didn't think you would have seen it. That is really one of the greatest movies ever made.
Dude, Blue Velvet, Mulholland Drive, Twin Peaks, Dune, the original Dune film. So good. I mean, you can go through a lot of his creativity and never arrive at what he was ready to do because he was an auteur, and it's just Tom and I kind of talked a little bit about him. I feel like we didn't give him enough credit. He kind of shaped pop culture early because of Twin Peaks, which is why it's kind of disappointing to hear that you haven't seen Twin Peaks. But
I'm about like that marathon it. Well, hey, Mikey had never seen Survivor, and we've been going
really
through all the seasons.
Twin
What now?
Peaks kind of did for television what Tarantino did with Pulp Fiction for movies. Like they were.
Yeah.
That's a
almost
pretty high.
synonymous.
All right, I'm gonna
He's
try.
right.
I'm super
Right.
super picky, super snobby with the shows I like to watch. I like what I like, and I don't like anything. But I'm
The
gonna try that out.
problem
That's a
was
strong
Bob Iger.
recommendation.
Bob Iger came in and destroyed Twin Peaks.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you right now, because he's looking for a resolution, right? Because Iger doesn't understand what those kind of shows are about, and like it was a complete change in television. And to be fair, Tom, agree with me if you will, but he kind of like tapped into something that was later modeled by HBO for all their original shows.
Absolutely. I mean, you can still see it in things like Fargo and other shows to this day. I mean, you had Picket Fences and all kinds of other shows that followed that were basically just stealing the formula and trying to do it, but just failing. I'm even Infected Films
spoiled for me. I don't know anything about it.
I won't tell you anything. Well,
the problem was Bob Iger said we got to get to the finale, or at least we got to get to who killed Laura Palmer, because I got TV executives bugging the piss out of me, and Lynch is like, "That's not what it's about, you dumb fuck."
Yes,
don't tell me Don't tell me though.
Always the execs getting in the way.
Well, actually, I kind of feel like that's the problem with the Biden presidency and maybe the entire Democratic Party, because like none of the people who are standing out in front there as politicians are the people that are doing shit. I mean, we have to arrive at the conclusion, and I think everybody here, including Mikey, are going to agree. Laws aren't written by politicians; they're written by lobby special interests. These are crafted, well in advance by a group of people trying to benefit themselves and nobody else, including the citizens of the United States. So at the end of the day, you can tack on things like pork projects that'll individually help maybe satisfy a few in the constituency, but it's not really anything that's like there for us. It's there for, the exploitation of corporate America, which again, America's a corporation, which is why Mikey's correct. We need business-oriented people who have a greater understanding. They also probably should, watch Schoolhouse Rock and figure out how a bill becomes law.
Yep.
Good information if you're in that industry.
Yeah, but it's just it's one of those things. I mean, like I said, I would promote Tom as a politician every day of the week because he has a good understanding of people. He's very funny. He's personable. And, as long as he's not smoking weed, you're gonna hear things that make sense. So,
well, I mean, this whole idea of the changing of that archetype of the president, of a leader, it seems like the reason, or partly of the reason why the Democrats are so lost, is because they've just been the default. Like when I was in high school, you either liked you were a liberal, and the Republicans were the bad ones. I'm 35, so whatever timing that is. And it was just the default.
Never guess that.
And that's held them up, and so they didn't need to actually do anything. They just got the wins by not being the bad Republicans. And now that MAGA's coming around, is a lot different. We were talking about all these new people. They're like, wait, you're supposed to automatically like us. Where are you going? You want us to do things? It's like a spoiled rich kid that got kicked out of the house. Like, you got to start doing something. Thank you, Tim.
I love it. So yeah, we should probably start wrapping up in like maybe the next 10-15 minutes.
Sorry,
I have an early flight. But if anyone has any,
where are you going?
LA.
I'm sorry.
I know. That's how I feel. I know.
Hey, can you take pictures of smoke?
I wonder if is that still ablaze?
Yeah. Well, actually, they just lit San Diego on fire, so that'll be fun.
I'll let you know. I'll report back. I'll try to not start any fires myself.
So the places that I love are about to get. Well, I love the Palisades area. There's a lot of memories there, Malibu Beach especially. But I can't imagine what my favorite place on the planet's going to look like. It was dry grass. I warned San Diego a week ago that the arsonists were coming for them. They didn't listen.
No, and they'll keep voting for these same people. There were no water in the fire hydrants, but
I feel like
she's a lesbian.
I'm going to tell you right now. I feel like I needed to ride through like Paul Revere. The arsonists are coming. The arsonists are coming.
And then, of course, you saw Bill Burr going on, what was it, Jimmy Kimmel? Oh, these internet experts, you think you know how to manage a fire. It's like,
what a sellout.
How do you not know that everybody is known about the cleaning up the forest and all that stuff? I'll say they should send Xi Jinping.
Yeah, you did a great Bill Burr.
If they still send Xi Jinping over to the forest of the Palisades, if they had done that and got it cleaned up like San Francisco, everything would have been perfect.
That'd have been perfect. You know what? That's the plan. Just have Xi Jinping visit every place, and it'll be fixed, and it'll solve the homeless problem. Oh my God!
Yeah.
Well, at least in Democrat cities.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry. Again, California is blue. Blue, but actually, technically, it's purple. And I think this particular set of fires, if San Diego gets bad, I think they're going to decide to make things red. Every once in a while, they come to their senses.
I hope so. Bill Burr was kind of based too.
He's a like 10 years ago based. And like he's not willing to buy into the most obvious BS, but because he has that, like, oh, I'm not falling for that, and he is, LA and all that stuff. I think that explains why he thinks he's a lot more centered than he is, when really he's out there, but everybody he knows is even farther out there.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeremy, for subbing. Yeah, I should probably wrap up in a little bit. If anybody feels so inclined, send us your super chats. Also, join my locals or my Patreon. We do game nights, movie nights, fun stuff. I don't know if anybody else gives a shit about this, but I was thinking of like what could we watch with my locals. So other than horror movies, I am a whore for like competition game reality shows. So I once played in a game of Survivor that was like a weekend long, and I'm like, do you guys want to watch the episodes on my locals? I thought that would be fun if you want to see me like compete and fight bitches.
That'd be cool.
There was this crazy bitch in it.
Well, have you seen all of the early 80s and 90s American Gladiators?
Yes.
Okay.
I used to watch like
he's
reruns.
Gay, of course he has culture.
Yeah, I was just making sure.
That's probably what turned me gay.
Probably.
That is not.
I mean,
it did. Wait a minute. Now, wait a minute.
No. I know what turned me gay. It was Josh Hartnett in The Faculty.
That actually makes sense. Actually makes sense.
I can see that.
Yeah, me too. I was gonna say because I mean, wasn't Gina in American Gladiators?
I think she was in one of them.
Yeah, Gina Carano. Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I think we did like a reboot of it in the.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it was a latter one.
Yeah,
I don't think she's old enough to have done the original.
So for fun, there was a good. Gosh, I don't even remember if it was HBO or Netflix. I think it's Netflix. Netflix did an honorary show around the making of the Glamorous Ladies of Wrestling, or GLOW.
Oh, yeah.
I actually thought that was pretty well done. I'm trying. Okay, so sexy hot men for you. And let me. I'll think. I'll find some hot dude summer for you. I'll figure.
Yeah, find me those hot American Gladiator dudes. That would be a good one to watch, though. Yeah, and I want to do more. I want to do a few Celebrity Apprentice videos because that show.
Oh, those are so good.
Oh my god, that show was a freaking work of art.
Yeah, I only found it as I knew that The Apprentice was a show. I knew about Donald Trump, but I just never really watched stuff like that. And it wasn't until later, before he was running and all that stuff. But I eventually just turned it on. I'm like, this is what it is. This is awesome.
Yeah,
I wish I gotta see maybe where the catalog is, because that's the one I can binge through.
It's not. You can't stream it anywhere. You can't buy it anywhere. I've just like been collecting the episodes forever, so I have a hard drive of it.
I bet
maybe on the seas, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. When people say what's on your hard drive, I'm like 200 episodes of Celebrity Apprentice.
Okay,
that's how much of a nerd I am.
So like I'm a hardcore like premium HBO television guy. So did you watch like Deadwood?
I've never seen that one.
It's very good. Timothy Oliphant is in that, and Ian McShane and others. And I think, like, gosh, Tom, come on, help me. What's some really?
Booth was in it.
Yeah.
Powers Booth was in it.
It was really good. And
what was it about?
It was set in Deadwood. It was both mix of true story mixed with fiction.
Great storytelling.
Yeah, it's kind of revolves around the bar owners in the town, kind of more so.
And there really aren't any filler episodes, which is hard to say about an HBO television program.
I gotta watch it. There was this kind of obscure show on there back in the day that I wanted to watch called Carnival.
It was good. I enjoyed it.
That's in a similar vein, from my understanding.
Yeah, it's very similar.
I always wanted to see that.
I've never seen Carnival, but I've seen Deadwood. I was a huge fan of.
Yeah. I like that, and gosh, there was good stuff. I mean, I would turn you back on like what's his name? He's the guy that did American Horror Story, because you said you like horror films. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I like the early seasons, the Jessica Lange ones.
Yeah. So wait a minute. So where do you fall out? I want to see if it's where I did.
When Jessica Lange left, it went to shit. So Hotel. I mean, I kept watching. I'm really bad at breaking up with shows.
Hotel was great. It was like the only time I saw, but that was the only time I saw Lady Gaga as an actress. Like, if I was like,
she should have been the main character. Like, they built. Okay, if you guys haven't seen American Horror Story Hotel and don't want it ruined, plug your ears. Can I ruin it?
I know it front to back. I went to many
chat. Okay, plug your ears for a minute if you don't want that season ruined. But like, they've about 1,000 different characters in it, and they build her character up like she's so powerful and no one can take her down, and then in 2 seconds she gets shot in the head. And that's it. Like, that season could have been, it had like the pieces, but they didn't come together. Like, there were no character arcs, and then she's dead, and then now it's just all about the trans.
Oh, it went there. Oh man, the reason I watched the first season
in a dress.
I watched the first season and I was really into it. And I personally don't love shows where like there's too much mystery and they don't leave you enough breadcrumbs. Like, I tried to watch From, and it's just like it's just a scene of this stuff, scene of that stuff happening. And American Horror Story was kind of there, but they did a good job of having the mystery, kind of like Severance does, where you don't really know a lot, but like you can get into it. And so by the end of the first season, I was like, okay, I start to see what's going on here. I'm ready to get into this. And then it was a new story. I was like, all of that. So I didn't even go back for season 2.
So Murder House was
one.
By the way, Murder House gets a return in the Hotel show, if I remember right. Which one was it? No, wait.
Apocalypse.
Yeah. So, but I really, so Murder House is great. Asylum, not as much. Coven was incredibly good. Freak Show was okay. Hotel was fantastic. Roanoke, not my
I liked Roanoke until the last episode.
Yeah. But it's just like, and when you look at it, you realize that Ryan Murphy's coughing this all out of his mind. I was like, okay, he's doing a really, really good job. But I think I was out after. When did you drop out? Because
I've watched the only season I haven't watched. I've tried. I couldn't get through the first episode. Was the AIDS season? They had a season that was basically like
Apocalypse
AIDS. No, I mean they're all kind of AIDSy, but they had a season. Yeah. I think it was called New York.
NYC, season 11. Yeah, NYC.
Yeah, that's the only one I haven't seen. Then I watched the recent one, the Kim Kardashian one, which was just unwatchable.
Oh no, I fell out way before that, right? I think Roanoke was the last. Like, I'm gonna watch this every week, and then
then they did the Trump season.
Yeah, but anyway, but I was just gonna try to say is Ryan actually does do great with series. He's really good at that. You don't agree?
I begrudgingly like some of his shows. I loved the Jeffrey Dahmer one.
That was brilliant, right?
I think he's good at coming up with ideas, but not maintaining them.
Well, okay, how about the OJ trial? Because that was genius.
That was great.
And it had what's her name in it that's been in basically every season.
Yeah, Sarah Paulson.
Yeah. And I love her. I think she's a genius actress. All the way back to HBO. I'm going to go back to HBO. She was in a television show called Studio 60 with Matthew Perry.
Did you watch that?
Yeah, all the way through. I have all the episodes.
God, we're the only people who have watched that show.
Oh, it's one of the best television shows ever made.
Really?
Right? It's the same. Yeah.
I have a love-hate really. It's so
Aaron Sorkin. That's a Sorkin thing, right?
I
Sorkin
know.
Sorkin's the
king
greatest
of cringe.
But no. The guy's the best dialogue writer next to Mamet out there, right? Because Mamet's like king of playwrights, but he's also like really good at dialogue. And I'm telling you right now, Sorkin, he did West Wing. He did that. He did Sports Night.
The Newsroom.
Sports Night. He did Newsroom. Newsroom's genius.
What?
The beginning of Newsroom.
What?
It's
not
it's
serious. Right?
You're talking about the very opening of it.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Like when I watched it the first time in like 2013 or whatever.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my god! But like, yeah, of course, the like if you pay attention to anything at all, you realize that America isn't ranked the best in these categories, but that
that was the nuance of what was lost in that dialogue, right? I mean, that monologue, obviously, by the character played by Hurt, right? What's his name? Am I right? His last name's Hurt.
Jeff Daniels.
No, Daniels. Jeff Daniels. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, I was thinking like a different kind of Daniels, and I was going to go get a drink. But anyway, no, but he's great, right? But in that moment, he's like saying, "Yeah, we were great. We need to return to great." That's what MAGA is about. I mean, you can't fight with the idea behind that.
But for different reasons. It was so, I mean, and that diatribe has aged like milk when he's talking about the UK has freedom.
But no, I agree with you.
Australia
when I first
has freedom.
I was sharing it on Facebook.
At the time, we were post 1,000 points of light concept, right? Because that bologna sausage CIA loving Bush guy gave us that bull stuff. But anyway, for me, dialogue in television is very hard. So when I see somebody who can write it, like if you watch West Wing, you take the politics out of it. Yeah,
I have to watch that. I've never seen it.
What's the goofy soccer thing called that everybody loves?
I know what you mean.
Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Ted Lasso.
Oh, I mean,
dialogue's important. Ask Tom. It's actually the thing that will either hook me into a television or a movie, or if you can't write dialogue, I don't care anymore. You just you might as well. I might as well not be sitting here.
Yep.
So that's why modern entertainment's so non-entertaining. Because people can't write. Like if Mike and I are walking down a hallway right now, like we're headed towards Amfest, or he and I are like doing something, the dialogue would be brilliant because the conversation would be realistic. It would be something that would happen spontaneously. If you write dialogue, that's the expectation of dialogue. It's 100%. It's like Han Solo saying to Princess Leia Organa. She says, "I love you." He says, "I know." That's like human dialogue, especially from the personality perspective. So it's just, yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Well, I know Thomas is going, so I'm gonna wrap up here. But this is, and also I got to do laundry and pack. But this is so much fun. I love you guys, and I love you chat friends as well. We got to do this again soon.
Yes,
definitely.
So let's go around Tom.
Movies.
Oh hell yeah, that's like the shit I actually care about. My beautiful Tom, where can people find you?
Midnight's Edge After Dark, and all fine places where video games are sold.
Love you,
beautiful.
I love Tom.
Thanks for joining us, man.
I love him. Mikey, where can people find you?
I just put it in the chat.
It's in the links below as well, y'all. Culture Casino, first time guest. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I feel like I was a jerk and talked too much, but I had a lot of fun.
We never talked about the titty lady. Oh my god, we didn't talk about the titty lady.
Wait, there's a titty lady?
The titty
I like titty
lady. Not this one. Oh my god.
Wait, are we is that
actually?
Okay, wait. Now we got. Okay, Tom. Sorry if you gotta go.
Tom, you can't leave. You need to see the titty lady.
I actually do have to run because I'm supposed to be on another stream. But yeah, so
all right, we'll say hi to them.
I gotta run. All right, take care, guys.
It's a very quick story. So this is what, like maybe a couple weeks ago or something.
Just so you know.
How do you not know what I'm talking about? I will never forget this as long as I live. So Walter and I were on Vet Stalkings.
Oh!
And last minute, right before we go on, he says, "Oh, this other girl is joining us too. She's lady of OnlyFans." And now, for some reason, this happens to me quite frequently that I go on a stream and there are titty ladies there, and like sometimes they're cool.
She was sort of.
Oh my god, I've been meaning for weeks and weeks to like grab clips of it because this bitch was saying the craziest shit I have ever heard in my life.
Yes.
And then he and I were just like looking at each other.
And then we started messaging.
Yes. I mean, this bitch, she was talking about, and anything I say, by the way, is an understatement because it was 1,000 times worse than anything I can remember. She's talking about like she was a child in school and they would pretend they were Nazis and she would be banging the other kids. And then she's talking about like, I went through airport security with a dildo up my ass because I keep it in there all the time and it fell out at airport security. And then other people are talking and she's opening her legs and her vagina is right there. Oh my God.
That typically is where it is. Yeah.
Okay,
his face throughout it and mine probably.
I was like going, what? Yeah, that was like, I think that was permanently on my face. But what's really weird, and I didn't get the chance to tell you, Mike, she was supposed to be in our booth at AmFest.
No.
Yeah, she was going to be one of the people. She was going to be one of the people interviewing people.
Dylan.
Right now, mind you, I'm Mr.
About
Base
what, her
Camp.
pussy?
No. I mean, like, look, there are a lot of conservative ladies that are part of the MAGA movement. I mentioned this is the one thing I knew that I didn't know that was be important or pertinent to the conversation. But there is a few ladies that do skin things for money. One of them is Corey Chase. So I mentioned her name and she goes, blah, 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 and she went off for like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. But regardless, she didn't make it because she got, I don't know, snowed in or something at her airport. So what's great,
that's a euphemism. Oh, we know what was happening at that fucking airport.
I'm just going to say. Anyway, but seriously, in the booth, so at the Vets Talking booth where I am for AmFest, she was going to be one of the people interviewing people. And I'm the dude. I brought everything. Like I brought the whole portable studio. So I had the 4cam set up with the Blackmagic ATM ready to go. I had all the things plugged in. I had multiple microphones, lapel mics, the whole nine. One of the guys brought lighting because I couldn't bring mine because it's up on the ceiling rack in the studio here. But like literally, I'm like this is going to be crazy. So instead, we got a former Senate candidate that actually interviewed everybody. I did a few interviews, obviously, and one of our other folks, the Outcast, was there. He was there. Drew Outstanding was there, I should say. And we had like the lectern guy for an interview.
This was the stream, by the way, the one on top.
Oh,
here,
dude, if you have to watch this.
Oh, I've been meaning to like make a video out of it for the longest time because she was saying it takes a lot to shock, but like she was saying the craziest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah, it was great. Look, I have all their videos that are still unedited. I edited like about a half of the videos and sent them to Vet Stock. I got to get the rest of them to him. I was going to do that tonight, but then I popped on your show. But we interviewed everybody, man. Lectern guy. Oh, I feel like we just lost. Oh no.
He had to go.
All right.
I misread. Oh my God. I misread what Mikey said in the private chat. He wrote, I got a bounce, but my ex is in the chat. And I was like, oh my God, who? Because I feel like I would know if that were the case, but he meant his ex handle on. I had a heart attack for a second. I was like, I feel like, hey, Esteban. Glad you're here.
Regardless, this is how Mike and I bonded, like for real. Was like going back and forth. They're like, what was that?
I've already subscribed to your channel, man. I really we really got to link up. I'm between the political stuff to the religious stuff to the movie stuff, man. I appreciate you meeting here.
No, it was great meeting you, dude.
That's like my favorite thing here because, like, let's be honest, there are so many fucking horrible people who do this sort of thing. So I love when you find good people, you can bring them together.
And dude, I mean, you are like magic at that, and so is Carrie Smith. I mean, I'm thinking of all the people who like bring people together. There's not enough of them, and like it's like super cool. So no, dude, for sure. But I'm telling you right now, you got to watch that stream. For those of you out there in the chat He is not lying. It was.
I'm understating it. It was 1,000 times worse than anything I'm describing.
Look, the deepest cave in the world was just recently discovered, and this is that.
Courtney,
Yay!
That's awesome.
I was considering. I'm like, should I ask?
Shout out to Simp.
Yeah.
We love Simpcast. I
oh
love
hell
the girls
yeah.
over there. Oh dude, like Chrissy Mayer, like I like Lila Hart was in my booth for that thing. You missed Lila.
I love her.
She's so great, right? I spent so much time with her. I just constantly hugging on her because she's so lovely.
I love her so much. It's on Vetstock, and I have to maybe on the flight tomorrow. Well, I can't on the flight because people are gonna be looking at that. They're really,
no.
Yeah, it's on YouTube somehow. I gotta get clips of it.
Oh no, it's staying.
No, but it's on there.
Oh, and I have to tell you something. Vetstock is still a great channel. Just a great channel.
It's amazing,
dude. Because Adam is brilliant, and the guys on there are great. I mean, these are all people.
He's coming to stay with us next week when we're going ghost hunting, and we're gonna make.
Oh wait. Oh, dude. See, he didn't invite me because I told him I'm a huge ghost hunter. I live in like I live around places that are super haunted.
Let's do it.
Where I am now. Before I move to Tennessee, I got to get you out here. But like we could go to Tombstone and stuff. It'd be super fun.
So down,
Yeah.
dude. Funkmaster General, thank you so much, dude. Great show, Mike. Thanks for having us. Culture definitely show up on the IJ show soon.
Come on through, Indian Jesus.
I'll show up anywhere, man. I just have to have a little bit of advance notice. I didn't need it for Mike, but I do need.
Sorry, I'm like last minute.
No. Super cool, man.
I was hungover. I got his DM. I'm like, I don't want to miss.
No.
I had some issues with my stream yesterday. I was like, let's go.
Tuesday is my live day. So like from my show, which is in the morning, like the 6-minute daily, throughout the entire day, I am literally booked. I go show. There is no break. It's hour. So hour to hour, I'm completely booked. So when he sent me that, you know what I did? I went, okay, do the math. Okay. You will have exactly 15 minutes to pee. That's what I did.
Honored. Aw, thanks so much.
No, the boss. By the way, we were doing the show. The boss brought me dinner. Like so, and by the way, like this is how I can do this because on Tuesdays and Thursdays I stream morning to night. Like I'm gonna go to bed in I don't know whenever I'm done streaming today. This is not the last show I'll be on, but it's just like it's I'm living my best life. I retired and I'm living my best life, and it's because of everybody out there. So I will be there, IJ, for sure. Awesome. And you just got to send me a message. And if I can't make it this week, I'll make it whenever else. But
we can definitely.
But I've been trying to do stuff with Mike forever. It's just like this.
I know,
like, the stars all aligned. Well, and again, Carrie Smith, I love her so much. She's given so much to my life and all these amazing people.
Yeah, you guys were doing great yesterday.
She wanted to be here tonight, but she had to work tonight.
You know, she is like extra special. Like every time I meet her, it's like I get to give her a hug and tell her how great she's doing, and talk about her wonderful family and the work they're doing on their home and everything else. Like I'm going to show up there and like I might, if asked, build her an entire greenhouse while I'm there. So like because I'm this huge like natural foods guy. So like right now there's two. There's about to be 3 greenhouses in my backyard. I'm a freak show and I love real food. So like we cook, we like use our own vegetables and stuff. I mean, it's just, it's crazy. I'm nuts. I want to come there and cook for you. IJ, where can people find you? You have a stream right after this, right?
Yeah, I'm going to do a stream just to hang out and see you got a bunch of cool people here. So if you guys want to come through, this, of course, is Morty. And again, I am Lutch, a.k.a. the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Something we talk about a lot here. And am live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. And sometimes whenever I feel like it, like right after we're done with this, but usually, breaking down conversations that people are having, I try to stay away from, just being a news channel. I want to be more about bringing people together and having those discussions. And then, of course, we do have the Discord server that is free to join. We love conversations, so come on through. And of course, you can follow me on socials at Indian Jesus off like official. Indian Jesus off.
And everyone's links are in the description. And if you guys feel so inclined to join my Patreon, join my Super Chat, become a channel member. I have multiple members like the guy with 2 dicks. So you're welcome. You guys seen The Guy with Two Dicks?
I don't know why I
Thankfully no. So often in my life, but I was at dinner with my friends and I was talking about The Guy with Two Dicks. It's sort of seared into my memory.
Yeah,
sounds like it would be.
Yeah, that's dude, can I? So there's like a whole lot of functional issues there. There's like logistics.
They're both functional, apparently.
Okay. Oh boy, howdy,
get this,
ladies. Okay,
of course he is. Because of course he is. He says he's a bisexual. So I'm like, what's one dick gay and one dick is straight?
Well, I mean, you know, one in the stink.
My ears.
Well, on that note, thank you.
Sorry, that's terrible.
Don't be sorry. That's what this is. I like to think of my show as being like the bathroom wall of the internet. So.
Oh, we definitely threw some stuff up there. I gotta tell you. Right
Oh, just wait till people see that titty lady.
No, I'm gonna see that. I'm gonna tell you something right now. I loved her. I thought she was great. She was insane, but I thought she was great. Like
I was debating, I'm like, should I have her? I'm like, I feel bad. I feel like
we should bring her in. We should bring her in and so sometimes there are people you just want to go, oh honey. And she's like that, right? So there was a great episode.
I love crazy people.
There was a great episode of How I Met Your Mother where they called like the character they couldn't remember her name. Honey. Oh,
I am obsessed with How I Met Your Mother. Obsessed.
Sorry, Esteban. I apologize. I feel like that's my fault.
This is a no apologies channel.
Okay, all right. Well, understand. Like I'm wearing like French cuffs on a show. It's like
wow,
he's a classy
fancy.
Well, no. Just Tom Connor said, "Are you wearing your gayest shirt?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm on Mike's show. That's gonna be fun."
Love you. I am honored. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys, chat friends, for hanging out with us. I will be back next week, maybe in the weekend, maybe Sunday. I get back home in a couple days. Wish me luck that I don't get jumped by any roving bums in LA.
Mike,
hopefully.
Mike, I have to ask you this question because this is very important because people could see us together. Are you going to be at the meetup in Orlando?
Are you going to be
MegaCon?
Yes. Are you going to be?
Well, yeah.
Did you say the Baycon?
I rented a content house. Like there's going to be like Creator Fest.
About this. How am I?
I don't know. Because we don't talk often enough. It's all your fault.
We should. It's your fault. Okay, it's probably my fault, but we should.
All right. Anyway, I interrupted the outro.
No, not at all. Well, I love you guys. I will. It is so good. I hadn't done a show in a couple weeks. This is first show.
It's good times.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, Mike and Culture Casino again. I'm really
dude. IJ, you gotta say just try to give me an advance warning. Don't do them right.
Yeah, I want what?
Yeah,
you should come, Courtney.
Oh, you should go. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, do it. It's in Orlando.
Yeah. There's also a debate con in Newark. February 15th and 16th. Modern day debate.
Dude, no, it's still going to be cold. No, pick a summer event.
Who wants to go to Newark?
Well, it's like a 30-minute drive for me. So it's like 15. And
New Jersey's perfectly fine.
And Andrew Wilson are in debate. So I
don't have a problem with the Garden State, absent the, waste plants and stuff. But I'm just going to say I'm okay with it. Just like, not when it's cold. Cold sucks.
I should have moved out here years ago. I hate the winter so much, but
Florida.
I'm stuck.
All right, you guys. Before we get derailed by any more titty ladies, I'm gonna say goodnight. I love you guys. I will see you soon.
Puppy.
Take care.